You were too early there, Farrell.
Okay.
Want to do it again?
My microphone doesn't want to catch me. That's my microphone is transphobic. Okay.
All right. So last main session, we fought Trail. Trail got increasingly agitated while sitting there, demanding the tube or the girl, even as his mercenary allies, team, whatever you call them, were objecting and saying, hey, we agreed we weren't going to force anyone to come. And as things started to look like they're getting further and further out of his control, well, he suddenly made a transformation. He became a very reasonable and sensible guy who smashed one of his allies right into the wall, pulped them. Riley recognized that there were some things that she'd heard about happening at Mercuricore happening here, and several of you made a break for the Raza, while a handful stayed in that makeshift trap, trying to lure him over to the explosives, or just to take him down. Taking him down proved much harder than expected, but that gave the people that were running time to get away. I will have you know that the reason that there were what I was using for those arrows for, and those two little obstacles that I put exclamation points for, is every one of those was a point at which Trail would be able to catch up and attack somebody. Whoever was at the back. And so I was thinking about this over the week. I did feel bad for the people that were running when the combat was happening, because I didn't really give you guys enough to do.
We got to live. I'm more than happy. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, that was a consequence of the split attention, and I just needed to focus a little, or give a little bit more focus to the people that were making a break for it and the challenges that they were facing at the same time.
I mean, I get it. You had to fudge the rules so Percy could live.
I didn't actually.
Yeah, there was no punching there. It was so funny.
Yeah, I know that was a joke.
Oh. Sorry, it's too early for jokes.
That you could not physically do because it's all digital.
You know, I'm glad to hear that Trail would have got several opportunities to attack people if he'd been following them down the corridor, because it means that what I did wasn't monumentally stupid, just quite stupid.
Right, it was only quite stupid. But no, there was a very much a reason why I had the people that were in the exit corridor, roll exert checks, and placed them in positions.
Yeah. Well, you had mechanics where people could sacrifice their position and go backwards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To get other people forward.
I did.
I think effectively the one thing you didn't predict was someone not even trying to run. Just sacrificing ultimate sacrifice of the position to just stay there and distract Trail.
I did expect someone to not run, and I expected things to go much worse for them, and then for the rest to continue running.
Yes,
in fairness, so did I.
Yeah, exactly. So did all of us.
Yeah, I need to calculate the numbers during the week, and with Trail's attack bonus, he was expected to hit 3 and 4 attacks, which means that across those 3 onslaughts, his average damage should have been about 50?
Right. And instead he did less than 30?
25.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
means that,
I could probably. I'm not going to do it right now, but I could probably do stats on like what is the chance that Percy survives all these attacks, and it's probably low.
I would appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, instead of a gloriously dramatic death, I now have some awkward conversations and no new character.
Yes. And you'll have one other important piece of information. You kind of now know what to expect if you see another transformation that looks like this. I was thinking about that over the weekend too, because a conversation had come up in the Stars Without Number Discord where people were disappointed if their big bad didn't get to be big bad, and I'm sitting here thinking, I just had one of those combats, and now my players know that if they're actively fighting a squad of Mercure Corps guards and one of them hulks out like this, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
Look, he was an early big bad. He transforms into a mook.
Yeah, what we expect if one of them hulks out like that is for somebody to get blinded.
Yep. I need to find out if I can find something that messes with this whole process. I suppose that I could inject.
That's a worthwhile research project for Riley.
Yeah, but alongside getting some equipment I can actually use that with.
And at the end, with Trail's dying body still trying to kill Percy, a little bit of help from Das and from Doug, from the D's, helped Percy literally slice him off with a sharpened piece of the countertop near him, and Doug's lift.
And then skitter out of the hole in the wall and run away until Trail stopped thrashing.
Yes.
I mean, can you blame him? Can you blame him, really?
No, not at all. We also had an interim session last week in which we played laser tag. Might sound a little bit familiar there, Jackal.
We had laser tag and I missed it, damn.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we did when you and Doug went here.
I wasn't there either.
Were you not? Huh.
No,
Yeah,
I was
right?
not feeling okay, and I went to bed.
Right, yeah, I remember now, yeah. Yeah, you turned up and then went, and then left, yeah.
Yeah. In that, a couple of characters were chosen for promotion. Kawana showed some slight leadership chops, but also some slight doesn't work well with leadership chops. Hartman ended up just being kind of generally effective. Let's see. No, Percy had AC 14, I believe. 15, because 13 plus 2 for Dex.
Right, 15.
Yep.
Okay.
And
15.
you also decided to promote the unnamed guard. I did roll for the unnamed guard's gender, and after rolling, counted males, females, and non-binary in your crew, and the rest of the unnamed crew are all male. Because there's now like 9 female named crew and 3 male.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'm gonna balance that out. The rest are all male.
No, that's a good balance. I love that balance.
Yes, I agree.
Can we do it more?
8 males and 9 females is a fine balance.
Diversity quota.
Yeah. Like with traditional pirates, we are a surprisingly inclusive bunch.
There actually is
just a
go ahead.
question. We have all of that fight recorded, right?
Yes.
Awesome. That'll be particularly scathing to the image of Mercure Corp.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Holy shit.
Ah. um, in this setting, it can very easily be claimed as fake unless you have witnesses, essentially. I've decided that the deepfake AI environment allows things to be claimed as fake unless there's a celebrity or a recognized person there that can be asked in person if it happened. So things like that are very difficult to actually show, but you can always start conspiracies.
Can we bring his body?
That's certainly something you can try if you want. We'll get into that in this session.
Yeah, didn't it kind of melt a bit?
No, didn't quite melt.
Huh.
Yeah, we'll get into that this session.
Okay.
And with that, I think that's plenty enough recap. We're already at 11:30 almost. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring us to frame. All right,
Oh,
we are
oh,
here in the aftermath.
I just remembered something, by the way.
Hmm.
Hi, future Jackal.
Well,
Hey, why does he get a high future?
Because you said to stop doing it to you, and he watched the last one.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
I didn't watch it. It was fucking killing me. Everyone getting so coy about it. It's just like, fuck.
Well, now you can see what the end layout, the end cacophony looked like.
I mean, I saw it already, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
This really is cacophonous, isn't it?
we've just seen Percy and Dash separately in the decontamination shower. Acid showing a lot more sensitivity to Dash, and pardon me, and Percy with Riley in medbay. Everyone else kind of where you want to be. 1 second here. Yeah, I believe that's correct, Ellie. I can look at it later just to confirm.
Yeah, because if that's correct, I'm gonna put the foci point in that. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Just remind me at the end of the session.
will do.
And we've had a little bit of here's what happened immediately after the battle, but only a couple of scenes. Right now, you've got Masaru and Sophia on your ship with you. Doug and Anya. Well, did Doug have any part in any after fight scenes when we wrapped up?
I don't think so, apart from him shouting at Percy a little bit as we were parting ways.
Ah, yes, that's right, that's right. Okay. Well, we'll just kind of put him out of the picture there. We don't need to worry too much about what he's doing or where he's at. And so you've got some of their crew on your ship with you, or at least in the airlock area, and Anya on her way back to her ship. That can all be easily exchanged, easily corrected. get them over on their ship. I just wanted to give you any opportunity if you wanted to talk to Masaru and Sonia before they leave.
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
I do want to just kind of pick their knowledge at if they've had any dealings with Mercury Core, like did they know any of this was happening, and also what they're going to do now that their captain is most assuredly dead.
He is quite dead, isn't he?
Well, they will. Masaru proposes that they'll probably have a vote on who is going to take over the reins of leadership, as well, they're all mercenaries, and they all feel like bad things happen when you don't have someone who calls the shots. um, and they'll try to recruit some more, but that's a problem for them later, not you now. Any dealings with Mercure? They've had contracts. Trailers taken contracts from Mercure before. This was a long-standing job that Trail had taken, and no, they've never really seen hide nor hair of anything like this.
Okay. Then I will. I don't know. Try establish some kind of long form contact, some digital business card.
Okay.
If we need them, we can be, I guess, friendly about mercenary work.
Yeah. Masaru expresses in some kind of subtle manner that he feels a little bit responsible for how things have played out, or at least in for his part in it. And so he's very receptive to working with the Raza in the future and helping to uh, repay his own responsibility. Um, that will depend a lot. How much he can offer will depend a lot on whether he's nominated as a captain or not, because you don't see that kind of contrition from Sophia, or not contrition, just that sense that she felt responsible in any way.
Cross your fingers.
But long form, yeah, whatever. Uh, distant words are not working for me. I need some more caffeine. Uh, a form of distance contact is easy to establish with them. Oh, they really do only have the three of them now.
Yeah, because you mentioned before that the fifth was missing, it seems, and their fourth went squish against the wall with like 42 damage or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, right. That actually gives a little bit of insight into why Masaru feels a little bit responsible. Is that the guy that was missing did try to convince the rest of them to distance themselves from Trail and start working on with a new company or crew. And Masaru was a voice against that. So the guy that was missing just said, "All right, I'm out." He was an old, seasoned veteran of mercenary work.
Right, and then because Mr. argued for them to stay, Dominique got fucking scraped against the wall.
Yeah. Masaru has a little bit of guilt on his conscience.
A little bit of guilt over the blitzmeal once known as Dominique.
Yes. No
Formerly
need to
known
rub it in.
formerly
It's already been rubbed into the wall.
Okay, nice.
Anything else before they transfer back over to their ship?
No, that's about it.
All right.
I'm on my data. Hopefully that keeps stronger.
Oh, good. Move you guys over to the regular ship screen right now. And, I have one thing for us to do. Well, two things for us to do here. So, Koana got a promotion. Let's roll Koana's hit points, see if she gets better.
Huh.
Does Koana have actual D6 hit points?
No, NPCs have D8.
Oh, okay. So I have worse than D4, and NPCs get D8. Okay,
Yes.
I see how this works.
Well, that's convenient because that's
Koana
how
rolled
many
an
hit
8.
points she had. She already had 8. She was already at max.
Right. Hmm.
Koana does give you a decision though. The way I've been doing the NPCs is once they've gotten attention or promoted, then they get one of their upgrades. Koana, once they get promoted to a 1, they get their personal upgrade, unless it's something that's very like integral to them. Koana, I had given her the gunner thing early on because I realized, hey, if she's supposed to be a gunner, she's really bad at it because her attack bonus is not that of a guard. And so,
And also, we didn't have any guns.
well,
Yeah.
also yes, also that.
Yeah, that doesn't really help.
Yeah.
So you can decide what her upgrade is amongst all the formatting. Dang it, Discord. Anyways, she can either have her full personal bonus, or she can have one of the normal upgrades that she would get. If you take the personal bonus, which is the elective education, right now it's only adding to attack rolls. If you take the full bonus there, then she'll get either gunner feed or winning tactics at E2, or possibly something else depending on her development. If you take gunner feed or winning tactics now, she will get elective education at E2.
Okay. Well, given that I am currently lucky to know what planet I'm on, frankly, I'll leave this to the rest of you.
For gunner feed, does the difficulty reset? Is that per combat or what?
Oh, per combat, yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Asta, I'm going to roll her hit points now. Also, she just gets this. This is her personal thing.
Huh.
Oh, neat.
And for hit points, she does roll a little bit differently.
Does she also have D8 hit points?
She has a D6 plus 2.
Yeah, okay. That's even better.
Oh my goodness. Well, she gains hit points.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of hit points that I've been rolling. Yeah, that's D6s. Are you sure? There's not a 5 or a 6 there. I don't know if I'm saying this because I want there to be like 7 1s next level, or if I want like an actual good roll and I'm taunting it to give me 5s and 6s. But I think either way I'll be happy. Like
Yeah.
what I don't want is like 1 1 1 1 1 1 5. You know, if it's all 1 to 4, that continues the memes.
Mhm.
If it's actually
Yeah.
properly good, I'll get reasonable hit points, and that's fine. What I don't want is just like a bunch of 1s and then a 6 to disprove the beams, but also
Yeah.
not be good.
Yeah. So you want it to either be really low or really high. You just don't want middle ground. That's acceptable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine how fucking funny it'd be though if Dash rolled like 40 hit points next level.
Yeah.
Can you
That's rolls
imagine?
like 42 hit points. Oh, that'd be funny.
Mm.
And if you guys can't or don't want to decide, I will just give her her full personal.
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. Nobody's saying anything. Full personal. Why not?
Yeah. I'm not hearing any disagreement with that quick decision.
Yeah, should be fine.
Quick
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna get that eventually anyway.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And this
Fine.
basically punts the decision on which of the two bigger traits she's going to get.
Yeah. Kick the decision can down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
Her skill bonus is +3, so now when she's manning a gun, she gains that +3 to attack on top of her normal attack bonus, which is +0, and also gains +3 damage.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest. A decent chunk of why we brought Koana along in the first place was because of her ship gunnery skills. So beefing that up doesn't seem like a bad idea, you know?
Yeah. So, question:
Mm-hmm.
if she's on a phased charge cannon,
Mm-hmm.
can she roll 21 and make all the phased charge cannons do 21?
Well, let me look at how I wrote that.
It says use the highest damage rolled among all phased charge cannon hits.
I believe it would, yeah.
Nice.
Now, it is a gamble because she's got to be the one that rolls that highest.
Oh, of course, yeah. It skews her average
Yeah.
up, and then we
Yeah.
take the highest of the 3.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly.
still, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and I would do the same. Like if Percy's manning a gun, he gets his +2 dexterity, and so that could be up to 20 right there.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's not any in-rules way for PCs to add damage to ship weapons through foci or anything else. It's just your attribute bonus.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really does. Given her up to +4 damage on ship weapons is, well, it makes her special.
Indeed, she's a good gunner.
Yeah. Let's be honest. If this was like a novel or something, Koana would probably be the protagonist.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean think about it. Like we're a bunch of hardened space pirates. She's fucking bright, breezy, slightly out of play skill with fucking 7th level gun skills. Turns out to be a surprisingly good leader when given the chance to lead. We're like halfway through her arc.
Yeah. Like if she's not the main character, she's at least the main character of a spin-off.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
You
All
know?
right. I can see that. All right. So that's your situation. I know that there are some scenes that people want to do, and interspersed between those scenes, we're also going to have to figure out what you're going to do with this. Well, not the ship necessarily, but what you're going to do with Trail's body, if anything. And pardon me.
I think if we don't have any better ideas, set it on fire is a very healthy default.
You'll have to.
I love setting things on fire.
Go on a quest. Yeah. Does anybody have anything that they want to start in with? All right, let's.
I think Percy's probably gonna sit and chill and like be unconscious probably, unless anyone specifically wants a scene with him, in which case he'll just happen to be awake, perhaps.
Haven't heard from Jackal here. Are you muted?
I am not muted. I was just trying to. We already talked about some scenes that I wanted to do, and I didn't want to hog the spotlight, so to speak.
Okay. Well, why don't we, if you're ready for one of them, why don't you propose it, and I will then drift the camera over to other things, and then we can catch up with you again later. We'll space out those scenes, and I know that they involve other people, so won't be hogging all the spotlight.
I don't know. Okay. Well, first one I would like was as I'm going to call them, the War Council with Koana, Esed, Libra, and Dima.
All right, get out of the War Council box as to.
Wait. There's a War Council box.
There's a War Council box.
There's a War Council box.
Since when has that been there?
It just appeared.
She's even on the War Council now.
I've called the War Council. Actually.
Let's see. Dima, Libra, and she said Koana?
I said Koana, yeah. I'll regret that in a minute.
You will. You're so gonna regret that. I'm gonna put them a little bit over, like, oh, yeah, even better. Them a little bit like this.
So I have a question. What is the War Council room?
Whatever room Elise wants to hold this in. You've got secured conference rooms. You can kick Natario out of the bridge. That's also a secured room. It could be Elise's quarters, which is more or less secured, except you know that there's an occasional little noise in the vents that can hear things.
We have a security area. I think that this would be most humorous in the brig, like, interrogation room.
Have we scrubbed the blood out of there yet?
Yes. That's basically one of the first things that your new crew that you just hired did.
Yeah. Why did you paint the cells red? Don't ask questions.
You recruited and hired crew on Lamy Era, and then within a few days they're cleaning blood, fresh blood, out of the brig.
They knew what they were getting themselves into.
They
paid
did.
them well enough.
They did.
And they know if they ask questions that they can be terminated.
Mm-hmm. And even those that may not have known that this was Zaraza at that time, Vicky's not very good at secrets. She knew. All right, the War Council has been assembled. Dima is looking at the three ladies flanking him. Or if we include Elise. Koana's just kind of bouncing. She's happy to be here.
So I'd like to think that, we've got the table there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Elise is on one side. The rest of them are interspersed how they are, probably identically to that, just for the comedy of things.
Okay. Sure.
Table.
There's like a deep breath. I don't know how to start this conversation with you all.
Well, I can start it.
You know what? Why not?
I'm just so happy to be included in this. Thank you, at least it means a lot to me.
Right. I've called you all here because I believe that you are going to be, I don't know, experts at this. or at least closer to experts than not.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
There's a very slow look across the assembled by Libra, and then that look slowly pans back over to Elise. She says nothing, and her face, as a physical model android, is very difficult to read.
Elise is going to look at Libra. You know what I'm talking about here, right?
I wish that I did.
Okay. So, and then I'll explain the situation. You know, Percy almost died, and he tried to like be an idiot and like get himself killed. And like right before he did that, like just before he did that, and then she goes over it in very vague terms before finally I'm like 99% sure that like he like kissed me before he ran off.
Kawana is squealing.
Yeah. And yeah.
What does this mean?
It's so cute. It's romantic. Acid is shaking her head. He's just stupid. And Dima, not triggered, but set off by that a little bit. It's not stupid. Is how love starts. Good for you, Elise. Libra remains silent.
Okay, but like, what do I do now?
Kwana has many ideas on what to do now. She immediately starts suggesting romantic dates, and things that you could, if Elise is scared to commit or to reciprocate, she couches that in like not scared, but worried or just not sure what to do. Then she suggests gifts that Elise could buy him to prompt him into escalating the exchange. And Acid is sitting next to her like she has this almost annoyed expression on her face, but it slowly turns into one of sort of gradual acceptance. If Elise isn't jumping in or interrupting Kawana,
She is not.
Dima will. Just Kawana is very very good suggestions, Kawana. But Elise is strong, professional woman, and Kawana looks wounded. And not mean like that, Kawana. I mean that things may not work the same on a pirate ship, is all. And Dima says, if you feel the same, do not hesitate. Act. Do not play romantic games. Romantic games are for safe city life. And Libra finally speaks up. Looks at Elise and asks, do you feel the same about him?
Ooh, so like him, previous him, past him, had like a wife and like maybe a kid, and like maybe they're still alive or something. So, what do I do about that?
Dima speaks first.
And she will look over at Acid. Don't know if I can kill them.
Acid shrugs. As if, oh well, it was worth a thought.
In fairness, nature might have done that for you already. We don't know.
I don't know.
While Koana is processing this, Dima speaks up. It is difficult enough with wife on live, and child have never met. I can't imagine how it would be if I could not remember her. As is that barely knew her. But I think situation is different for both of you, and if he has brought, if this was not just heat of the moment, then it is not your decision to make what he does about his family. It seems to. Yeah, go ahead.
You said something. How do I know if it was not just a heat of the moment?
Well, I think maybe Libra's question is more important than whether it was heat of the moment. But my answer would be that you ask.
I don't want to do that.
Kawana raises a finger, and Acid pushes it down onto the table. And Kawana shuts up.
I'm sorry. Why is there a gun in here?
Wait, is there a what in here?
Did you say that she put a gun on the table?
No. Kawana raises her hand with a finger raised as if she's got all the ideas, and Acid just takes her hand and pushes it down onto the table so that it's not raised.
Oh. You said Acid puts a gun on the table.
No. No gun.
Yeah, just middle of this conversation.
I mean, that is a power.
What do I do now? Puts gun on the table.
Yeah, that would be a very Acid thing to do. Like, you know, you don't have this problem if you shoot him while he's recovering.
From Acid. You wait and you watch. You treat this as if you are living in a city. Can't live life that differently. Have to remember some of our culture and social norms. Libra kind of nods. You find love where love finds you. There's a quick glance shared between Acid and Libra.
Okay. I think meeting is dismissed.
But I still have more ideas if you want to hear them. Her hand is still pressed onto the table by acid.
I'm gonna say no.
Understood.
Good.
Yeah. I don't. Let me think a moment to see if I think any of them would have any other final words aside from Koana. Um. Yeah, I do think that Libra, as the others are uncertainly standing and getting ready to leave, Libra stands. She's, composed and certain, and pushes her chair back in, looks over it at Elise, says, "If this is something that you want, explore it. You deserve to be happy."
Aww.
That's the sound that Koana makes, by the way.
Okay.
And the War Council disperses. So I just let him jump. Thank you. That's perfect.
I'm curious to see what he guesses the War Council is about.
The War Council has been disassembled permanently.
I'm just imagining that Percy recovers, goes over to Elise like, so can we talk? And she just goes like blank for a second, and then runs off like, War Council, War Council!
I'm going to put the War Council in a special line so that you'll always know you can ask them anytime.
Credit where due, from what we know of them and the amount that we trust them, those probably were the best people to ask.
All right, what are you guys doing about that body?
Sleeping through it.
Now, I will say you don't have to do anything with it. The Trail's body is on a derelict ship that could never be floated. Excuse me, could never be flown again, and it's entirely possible to just fly away from it.
I do think, and I'm just thinking out loud because obviously I don't have much say in it, Percy's recovering, but I do think that at the very least it'd be interesting to study it, and I am extremely curious to know what happens if people find it.
You know what happens if people find it in what regard?
Just like people go, yo, what the fuck is that? Even if we don't publicize that, oh, by the way, this was, I forget which megacorp it was, Spectrestar, I think.
Mercury Core.
Mercure. I knew it was one of the two. Fuck, half and half.
By the way, welcome to your new named crew member.
Oh, she's large.
Well, yeah, so you can see the detail.
Does she fit in the ship?
Yes.
Really, she's like 7 boxes high.
Yeah, she's quite tall.
Look, I can either bring her in at a bigger scale or force you to zoom in.
This person?
I appreciate the bigger scale. But yeah.
Where did they come from?
They are your unnamed guard that now have a name.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And they
So,
have a name that is.
So of course she was there the whole time.
Kami Chira.
Let's see.
Dex, question.
Yes.
She took up 7 boxes when introduced. Is she in fact 7 feet tall?
She is not. She is, in fact, a little bit diminutive, which is why she is such a good runner.
Oh.
Well, not that being short makes you a good runner. She is such a good free runner.
Ah. Yeah, that makes sense.
She is small, quick, and lithe, and that is that contributed a lot to how she was able to score some victories for your team. Not enough, but still, sufficient to get her name recognized. So, yeah, back to Trail's corpse. It has you've disconnected the ship from it, so there's no atmosphere in there. By all rights, that thing should be dead when you go back in, if you decide to go back in.
The use of the word "should" there is not making me feel any better about this.
Where'd that GIF go of Oh yeah, never mind.
Where'd that what go?
That GIF of the GM looking very, very pleased.
The what?
The what?
The peanut
The
butter?
gift.
What? The GIF, yeah.
Yeah, the gift, right.
The GIF, huh?
Yeah, the gift.
You know
that
what?
For the why.
The person that designed it decided that it was pronounced GIF, and I believe that should be honored.
Yeah, for
Yep.
graphical interchange format.
Yes, but there
Yeah,
are
for
plenty of
giraffe
acronyms that
interchange
do
format.
not have the exact same sound as the first letter of each word.
All right, name 5.
I just hold to the theory that God himself could descend and tell me that it was pronounced Jiff, and I would say, sure thing, Jod.
Yeah.
On John for
See,
real.
the
For
thing is,
real.
thing is that right. Okay, so you're pronouncing it GIF. Okay, then I am Ginger. But if you pronounce it GIF, then I'm Ginger.
I'm fine with either.
It has to be opposite. You have to pronounce it the opposite.
Does Ginja or
are you typing
Jinja
this?
stand for something? Is it an acronym?
No.
Not yet.
As the name of a person or thing or concept, the creator of it, you can decide how you want it pronounced.
Yes, but
Yeah, the opposite of the way you the way you pronounce GIF.
GIF.
So Ginger.
Okay. I think I actually have
GIF
some.
has been a word
You.
for centuries, and it's always been pronounced YIF. It's an archaic English word.
Oh god, I knew someone was going to bring it in. I didn't expect it to be you. Believe it or not, there is an objectively wrong answer to this debate.
Yep.
So yeah, what we're doing with Trail's body, apart from arguing over nomenclature or phonetics, I suppose.
Yeah, it's phonetics. Mm-hmm. Are we going back in, or are we just leaving it and assuming it's dead? I mean, and I say this as someone who's definitely not going in. Well, I'm definitely not going back in at the very least. Even if someone manages to drag me in, I'm not going back in because I never went in the first time. But I don't intend to go in the second time either.
Well, I braved the fucking 95% chance of death before it's somebody else's turn.
Alright, I'll leave her last name up there. This is This is Riley's area of interest. Does Riley wants to go in and investigate? I think that body is getting left out on that ship.
I'm not sure if Ellie's unmuted or not.
Well, Discord isn't muted.
I'm vaguely unmuted.
Yeah, we heard that. Hello.
Does...
Oh, it's working. Oh, great. Sorry, I've been having internet issues. I've heard like half of what you guys said barely.
Oh no.
Uh, and it gets worse whenever I talk, I've noticed. So that's nice.
That's unfortunate. That's no good for you.
Hmm.
So
No, recently the internet's been bad. I don't know why.
So the question is Riley wants to go investigate the mutated body of Trail.
It would be nice to get some fresh samples, yeah.
Okay.
With proper precautions being taken, of course. Percy would probably like to get out at some point.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
Presumably. I'm not particularly in a rush, but...
Are you suggesting that Percy would go with Riley?
I do not have recommendation. No.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought that's what you meant by Percy would like to get out. I misunderstood.
Yeah, out of quarantine. Yeah, sure.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
I mean, unless I've already identified if the thing is contagious or not, or dangerous, or infectious in any way, shape, or form.
At this point, we're still in the early stages. This is within. Well, it can be at whatever point, actually. We're going to hop around in time a little bit. You guys could have left the ship immediately, or you could have stuck around and done your own things here, sorted yourselves out before deciding to move on. If Riley does investigate the body there, though, that will certainly help her speed up her research into whether Percy is infected or contagious in any way. And I
would
believe that
appreciate
119 is also going to join her. Is that right there, Knox? Yeah, I can got it in one. Well, technically two. All right. So Riley and 119 make their way back onto the ship. Are you taking anybody with you?
You know, taking Libra would be a good idea. She can't get infected and is capable of protecting you if need be.
That is an excellent idea. I'm gonna ask Libra if she wants to come along.
Yeah, she's fine with that.
Cool. I should probably move as well.
And I'll move 119 over there too.
RX119. What's route 119? What's your emergency? No, it's 112.
And a nameless crew that looks like they can move something heavy.
Yeah, we're gonna need to move something heavy. You're right.
Okay. And so you head on over. The mutated mass of flesh that is where you left Trail.
Isn't it ready?
It has grown.
Remaining activity. Even this long. How fascinating.
it hasn't grown too much. It's not like, filling the room or anything, but it's grown enough that it's noticeable uh, as you've entered.
How long has it been since we left?
Um, I still leave that to you. How quickly does Riley want to have formed up this team to go and investigate this body?
I'd say it's been at least a day, but
Yeah. Is everyone else fine with the ship staying here for a day?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
That's fine. It's
Then
like we're in a huge rush, right?
you really aren't. There was nothing happened in this battle that would have resonated far enough, made enough noise in space to overcome the various bits of metaspace static and other sci-fi space noise. So you didn't make noise. Union doesn't know that there's something of interest in this region. There's always
I'm gonna use my.
real quick. There's always a chance that Union just happens into this region of space, but space is big.
There's a lot of space in it.
So it's mostly void and some stars.
Mm.
Yeah.
A couple of rocks floating about.
You said you were gonna use what?
I'm gonna use the bioscanner on the corpse body. I'm generally just curious what it gives me.
Okay. Well, the description I gave is still fairly accurate even for a day out. It has grown, but not terribly much.
We are in a vacuum, right?
You are in a vacuum, yes.
So
and it is still moving.
Alive, then? Is it still alive and functioning?
It is. It's writhing. Is a good way to put it.
It is still showing signs of cellular activity. Yes.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Yep. Your bioscanner shows that it has rapidly mutated to withstand the the issues that vacuum brings with it.
Has it now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need so many samples. Ooh. Oh, this is great. Yes, I need samples. I'm gonna. What is it feeding off on? Yeah, I'm gonna like I assumed the bioscanner information you gave me was like a shorthand. I'm just gonna use I'm just gonna get a full in-depth scan at this point, along with.
Yeah, go ahead and make an int heal check.
Int heal check.
But please kindly don't heal it. It's doing that more than I'm comfortable with already by itself.
No worries. It'll be fine, darling.
A more thorough scan shows other bits and pieces of this mutation that have been blasted off or chunked off by the combat, because a lot of those shots fired actively hit it. That definitely was not a situation of, oh, it just missed and its hit points went down. No, a lot of metal and flechettes shredded the flesh off of this thing, and bioscan throughout the room, and obviously specifically focused on the main lump there, does show that those other bits, they show signs of inert but alive cellular activity.
So they're in hibernation of sorts.
Whereas this main hulk of a body Uh, it is still actively trying to mutate. It is trying to mutate into something that can extricate itself from this sharp shearing plane that Percy pushed it into, and to reform some kind of intelligent consciousness.
Hmm. Would it
You're
be rebuilding the consciousness that was already present, or would it create an attempt to recreate a new one?
well, more in a sense of recreating a neural pathway or a line of communication between whatever intelligence there is and all of the various muscles in it. So it'd be like saying it's trying to reconnect all of its body parts, all the parts of its body with the brain.
How intact is the brain?
Well, it's just not in great shape. It would certainly wouldn't be an intelligent being. Um,
So, like a Hulk, I guess. I wonder if that could be useful.
Yeah, I do
Um,
remember. I do remember us putting a not insignificant amount of bullets and other projectiles into that skull. So quite frankly, I'm glad that his brain isn't intact.
I did describe. Yeah, I think it was Percy's parting shot, wasn't it? That blew off. I had initially said it blew off part of his face, and then later came back and said, "Whoa, no, that was blown off a chunk of his face."
Yeah, because muscle started regenerating over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the muscle started actually cracking the skull apart. Um,
There's not many
it's
muscles on top.
well, there were for this.
There's not meant to be many muscles on top.
Riley's more thorough scan can confirm that this thing is not going to make it. It's too aggressively growing muscle, and
I'm assuming it's also burning up whatever resources it still has left in it without being able to replenish it fast.
yeah, weird thing about that.
It's not?
Riley has no idea where it's getting its resources from because it seems to only be expending energy. Like, I imagine that bioscanner can give her some kind of idea of, okay, if it keeps growing at this rate, it'll die in this amount of time. It's just not finding where it's being depleted.
Operators can use the bioscanner to a full spectrum of diagnosis and DNA sequencing achievable in minutes.
I'm aware.
So I think that would work, yes. Definitely. That's fascinating. Where is it getting that energy from? I definitely need some samples after that. Well, it should be dying, but it isn't. Libra, could you at the very least make sure that it is brain dead if it ever does manage to get back up?
Libra charges up her plasma cannon arms, scares your poor unnamed crew member who only came here to lift heavy things, and
Sorry. The crew member wasn't fucking scared by the living amalgamation.
oh yeah, he was already scared about that too. Yes.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, so I was just like, hold on, Libra scares him, but not that thing. That was a step too far. How dare.
And she, yeah, burns off what is left of its head and brain.
I'm gonna keep the bioscanner active just to see if that changes anything.
Well, now you've got effectively zombie response. That did change things, and I'm gonna continue rolling off your 14 heal int there. The cells within this body seem to have some, at least on an instinctive level, understanding that there's no longer a central processing organ, and its behavior changes. You're seeing actual changes in DNA radiate out from various points in this thing's body. Your information is delayed by a couple of minutes because it is taking some time for a mere bioscanner to register and calculate these things. But it's DNA construction instructions. I believe that's actually just called RNA. Have changed in response to this new trauma.
Can I tell what it's changed specifically?
Not with a bioscanner. You're gonna need something that's a little bit quicker on the computations needed. You're gonna need your advanced lab.
Right. I'm gonna need some samples. I'm just gonna look at the crew member and just kind of go like, probably can't count on you for this. John, darling, would you mind helping me?
Libra looks
119
over.
is John, right?
Yeah. Libra looks over at John. I believe this is a bad idea, sir.
For science. Besides, if it gets out of hand, I can also always just incinerate it. That is what the engines are for, isn't it?
I was gonna make a joke about how you don't have those kinds of engines, but you actually do have some amount of chemical propulsion available. Most of it is the bulk of it is gravitic, but there are still some chemical thrusters for those times when anti-grav won't work.
Fair enough.
In fairness, grav thruster engines would also be a very effective way of disposing of the body. Like, sure, it won't be gone, but it's not our problem.
No, they
we could probably just shoot it at the sun or something. Oh.
yeah. I do see that Nox is presently unable to safely answer. So we're gonna
safely.
Well, they're in a situation.
Okay.
So let's let that sit for a second.
This is great. I love this. So much new data.
Yeah.
I mean, so much new fun stuff to play with. I'm doing this half in character. So
only half, huh?
Oh yeah, it's half in character because I'm expressing it the way that Riley would.
Mm-hmm.
John and Libra and probably the crew have never seen her this excited. She is very excited right now.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
No worries.
You're good.
Libra is looking to John as her de facto authority figure.
Can we just take off a piece of something and bring it back? I don't think that lugging the whole thing.
Oh no, of course. I need I need some samples, not the entire thing. Dear me.
I do have other uses for the entire thing.
Of course not. We don't have the containment facilities for that as of present. No, we just need some small bits and bobs. It's probably too big of a risk to try getting something from the center of it, isn't it? What a shame, what a shame.
Alright.
Yes, some samples, small ones. Obviously, I want to study them, not... Well, I'd like it if they were easily disposed of in case they get out of hand.
I feel like we'd be able to excavate it in the same way that we'd be able to, like, pull parts off of a ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, Libra looks over at Riley, says, I do not have the medical expertise to know what part you want. It seems safe enough. You should cut it off. You should take your sample.
Well, You are security. If you say it's, I think it's probably fine. You think it's probably fine. That's 2 levels of expertise. Very well. Do I need to roll anything for that?
No, you don't. Libra would, but you don't.
This being said, it would be interesting to see if we could use the strain, if we can pull it, offensively. Just fire it into
Don't worry,
a
darling.
group
It's
and
on the docket.
take out the rest.
Don't worry, darling. It's on the docket.
We've gone.
As well as
We've gone from
Sure.
gyro to gyro squared.
it's not a war crime if it's not illegal.
I assure you, all of this is very illegal.
Yeah, it's not a war crime if it isn't legal, and it is very illegal.
It's not a war crime if no one finds out. It's fine.
We find out, and I intend to use this to hurt Mercure, so...
I don't see any reason I would object to this. I mean, some of my family members are probably still working there, but... Anyway, yeah, collect some samples.
Mhm.
I'm gonna collect some samples of the things that are pretending to be dead just to see if they'll act any differently.
Okay.
How big is the mount?
How big is the mouth?
The mound, like the mound of flesh that a trail is currently.
It's let's just say it's about 4 trails worth of trail flesh mound. Trail wasn't a terribly small guy. He was, let's say, about a 200-pound male. Not all muscle, but fairly beefy in his own right.
Right. I'm gonna turn to Libra and just go, hey, do you think you could cut him in half?
Not
Top
without
to bottom?
not without dedicated cutting tools.
I'm gonna look at the crew man that was here just to carry stuff and just say, could you go fetch some of those, darling?
Yes, ma'am.
Goodbye. And make it quick.
Yeah. He hustles off. About 10 minutes later, comes over with another crewman. Also looks like he's capable of moving things.
That's why they're here. Pack
Yep.
mules.
And they have mining lasers.
Lovely. Well, I will freely admit that I am not well acquainted with actually using these in the field. Libra?
I'm not familiar with the function of mining lasers either.
But are they very dissimilar to regular weaponry?
Very. The crewman says, it's okay, doctor. I've got this. What do you want cut?
She just points at the mound and just goes, that! In a very cheery tone of voice.
Ugh.
Top to bottom, please. Don't worry about damaging it. I just need to see if I can find some organs to take samples of.
Yeah. We don't need to go through the minute-by-minute details. They will cut and open up whatever you need to get whatever samples you want, assuming that John doesn't object to any of it, or anybody else on the crew, for that matter, because it's going to take some time.
I'm basically just taking samples of all the organs I can find that still exist, if any still do, just to see if any changes have been coming from there, or if that's perhaps where there's something lodged in where the energy is coming from, something of the sort.
Do you see that Nox is typing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the head was completely destroyed. The destruction of the head was completed by Libra.
Yeah. Which probably in hindsight I should have done after collecting a sample, but oh well. Yes.
And you are able to cut in and find, well, some organs. The lungs appear to have shriveled into what would be thousands, if not millions, of years of evolution into vestigial lungs.
That's
And
bleak, yeah. Doesn't need them.
it absolutely doesn't need them. And it has 3 hearts. Wait, no, make that 4 hearts. Another one formed while you were cutting it in half.
Neat. Oh, that's lovely. Ooh. I love more data points to work with. I'm still trying to record all this with the bot.
Mhm.
Can I ask, John to record all this with the bioscanner while I'm actually doing the cutting stuff? I can do that, right, John? John, you're cool with that?
Don't we have a medical drone to assist with this?
That medical drone is not currently here.
Why?
Because she'd asked too many questions about how and why this happened.
Also probably look after Percy.
Also that, yes. Which I hope Percy's having fun being asked everything.
Oh, she's probably talking to Aurelia, because remember, Aurelia was waiting for Percy to wake up and hear all of his heroic war stories.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I did forget about that. You're right.
So yeah, right now, Aurelia and Ciri are having a moment.
Aw, that's cute. That's sweet.
I'm gonna go ahead and classify this as part of the medical drone's job. There's some deeply medical shit happening.
Yeah, it's called therapy. Anyway, yeah. So after we collect samples, we go back. That's basically it.
Okay.
That's all I'm here for. And then I get back to work and.
All right. So when you say get back to work, do you mean that you're going back to the med bay to check on Percy, or are you going straight to the lab to begin work on your samples?
The lab. The lab. Yes. Percy will be fine. Percy, you can't leave there until I'm sure that this isn't infectious. And if it is, I'm gonna need to find a cure for you before you trail it up, okay?
Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah, you put it that way.
Thank you. I'm sure Ciri and Aurelia are perfectly fine company for you.
Yeah, unless anybody has another scene that they want to jump in with, I'm going to ask you, Viral, when Percy does wake up and hears Aurelia and Ciri having a flowing curiosity storm.
Mm-hmm.
What's he doing? He had, if you remember, he had put her off earlier from her questions of wanting to hear his stories by being tired and saying he was tired.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he's probably still a little bit dazed, but you know, it's got to happen eventually. So I don't think he'll even really register the oh shit, well I need to find this off or whatever when he's just saying, I'm awake. I think.
Well, Ciri
Silence
takes
then.
a medical interest, and Aurelia takes another interest. Aurelia does some things that Ciri instructs, and checking some things and reading out the data to her, even though it really isn't necessary. Siri's connected enough to the medbay. She already knows whatever Aurelia has said.
Yeah, yeah. Busy work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And Siri confirms that you do not appear to be, again, you do not appear to be infected.
Well, that's good at least.
I believe the doctor would like you to remain here, though, because this is a very strange effect.
Yeah, no, I still feel like all my bones have been hit with a hammer, so I wasn't planning on going anyway.
That might be because all of your bones were bludgeoned with a hammer.
Thanks, sorry.
How does it feel?
Honestly, I'm surprised I'm still here.
On a scale of 0 smileys to 10 smileys, what is your pain level?
Maybe 4, maybe 3 smileys.
That's fantastic. I'm going to leave you in the attention of Aurelia, and I've given her permission to hug you. And Siri starts flying out.
Okay, but not too. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's happening. Hello.
Aurelia does. It's actually very light. She's even blushing a little bit, having been put on the spot like that.
Yeah, I know that was Percy's response to the very light hug.
And then she will sit and talk with Percy for as long as he's willing to talk with her.
Yeah, I think Percy will probably talk for a bit, but he's still like very visibly not quite stunned, but shaken. And eventually he's just sort of like, sorry, can we, like, I need some time to think.
Yep.
Which is such an un-Percy thing that it's possible that he's received head trauma. Well, not possible, but possible that head trauma is impacting him.
All right. I don't have any other scenes before we get you guys off on your next destination. Although I believe you will have scenes. I know that there's one more thing from Jackal, and I also don't think that Ellie's going to let me get away without telling Riley something of what she learned in the lab.
Yeah,
I'm paying attention.
So, Jackal, if you're okay with it, we'll go back to Ellie first. You might be muted, Jackal.
I was. I said that was fine.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay. So this is probably going to be, well, okay. How do you guys feel about the time shenanigans? Because it's going to take a couple of days for Riley to get any more information here. So whatever I say to Riley is going to effectively be during your ship travel towards the transition zone or towards other ships that you want to salvage. If you want to keep things in order, we'll see where Jackal's at. But if you're okay with
do Jackal first, then.
If
I think we can do Jackal first then. If this is just if it takes a couple days anyway for my stuff to happen.
It does. Does yours take a couple days, Jackal?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll do Jackals first. That makes more sense. I think.
Yeah, if you're okay with that, Jackal.
I am perfectly okay with that.
Take it away.
Okay.
Well, set up the scene first, then we'll take it away.
I was just about to. So, Elise will move from the War Council room where she has been sitting the entire time since dismissing the War Council. Obviously.
How long's that roughly?
and she will make her way over to the medical bay. Open the door, kind of check that there's nobody else there.
I assume Aurelia's still there.
Nah, Aurelia's taken off by this point.
Ah, okay.
She does have to attend to her own shift.
Yeah, I imagine to Percy, if Percy is awake, it looks like Elise is trying to sneak in, but like in a cartoonish style of like checking, making sure nobody's there, while like having her entire head like sticking through the door.
For the sake of narrative convenience, Percy's awake.
Yeah. So Percy just sees Elise like triple checking nobody's in the room other than Percy.
It's empty.
Does appear to be that way, she says, as she just kind of like walks in, still like doing little turns and looking around. You're well, you're not dead, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm even more surprised than you are.
I don't know about that one. You scared me just like a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Are you?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the whole reason I did that was because, like, you saw that corridor on the way in. We set it up to protect ourselves in a fucking gunfight. We didn't expect to be running from something that would be less bothered by that than we were. If we'd all just turned and ran at once, then fucking who knows who would have got caught. Could have been
Right.
Could have been John. Could have been Riley. Could have been one of Trail's Elegans. Could have been you. Could have still been me.
Kind of seemed like it would have could have just been, I don't know, you, but yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, what's the difference?
I don't know. Why did you do that exactly?
Percy just sort of goes quiet for a moment. He's trying to put it together in his head. And then he goes, it's just, it's like I say, not sure I would have been able to live with myself if I'd seen someone else getting ripped away and smashed to a pulp in front of me, when I could, drag this tension away myself.
But we killed him, so you just got yourself injured for nothing.
Wait, killed who, sorry?
The loss now.
Okay, I'm not sure if I misheard you, Jackal, but I'm genuinely not sure what you're talking about.
Maybe I've misheard you. No, I was talking about like, oh, your sacrifice wasn't really that necessary because we killed him anyway. So running back in there just got you injured.
But yeah. Yeah, you say that, but he was only half dead when I decided to run back out of the room. Like, it was still a good solid 10, 15 seconds of gunfire, and you saw how fast he snuffed out Dominique. Sure as hell didn't take him 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could have been running and shooting down the hallway if he followed us.
Oh, sure, because he only goes as fast as we do, and has to navigate around the cover in the same way that we do. Yeah, I think what would have happened if he just fucking smacked one of those things and splattered us between it and the next one in line?
I mean, it wouldn't have happened like that, and if it did, I would have just avoided it.
You would have. Riley's not a combatant. John's not a combatant.
They don't have to be combatants for me to be able to tell them that they're about to fucking die and to hit the fucking deck.
Look, I didn't exactly have a long time to think about it. Okay, I just saw all those possibilities and went, shit, no, can't have that, no. And then I was moving.
But you're acting like it's like you didn't have any time. You had time.
And Percy just sort of tilts his head out a little bit.
What?
I had time. How do you mean?
I mean you you had time to run out into the hallway, and then you had time to run back in. So it's not like we couldn't have gotten away.
I mean, I was basically in the hall already, and he was bearing down on us.
Right, but he didn't get. I'm not going to argue about this anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're here to snipe at me, can you save it until I'm feeling better?
This is not what I'm getting at, right?
Oh, yeah. Percy sort of closes his eyes, and he's visibly sort of thinking. Like you see his mouth moving a little bit as if he's talking to himself for like a little bit, and then he just sort of opens up and goes, "Yeah, so will you punch me if I do apologize, or will you punch me if I don't apologize?"
We'll see.
Well, that's promising. But yeah, yeah, no, I don't think I really thought about that honestly. Like it was just you were right there. I was about to fucking run past trail to buy time for the rest of you. I honestly was not convinced that I was gonna get out the other side, and like, and in the heat of that particular moment, I told myself, it's okay if they get away, it's okay, and like, I don't know, I just
You just didn't think about it. It just
yeah, like
could have been anyone there.
no, I don't think that's the case. No, it's not just that you're pretty, although that is part of it, but like right from the start, we've gotten along. We vibed. You felt it as well, I'm pretty sure. Did you notice that I was in such a bad mood when we weren't really talking to each other? And like back before the first encounter with Trail, like I trusted you enough to go into my memories, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is that I'm feeling, okay? But like, you're right there, and there was no way to put all of this complicated tangle of emotions into words, you know?
I guess. No, not really.
So there, if you're gonna punch me, Bercy just sort of raises his chin a little bit and turns himself to the side, just presenting his cheek as a very obvious target for a punch.
Elise kind of lingers where she's sitting for a second, just a moment. I think what happens next is that like Percy does not get hit.
That's reassuring. I only have 6 hit points left. I can't lose anymore.
Not by fists, at least, right?
Oh god. Woo, psychological damage.
But at least we'll go in and give Percy a kiss. And
sputters a little bit like
as she pulls away, she does say that, I love you. And Dex, can you please take away the narration?
Yeah. Yeah. Before Percy has a chance to respond, next thing he sees is Elise looking at him in the middle of conversation, asking about the events. And Elise, there's a moment where your vision gets a little fuzzy and it goes a little bit intimate and off the rails, and then you're back sitting there in front of Percy. It was all in a vision.
God fucking damn it. You can't just use psychic powers to cheat in relationships like that. It's not fair. Like, I didn't want them, but it's still not fair.
So instead of doing what I said earlier, Elise just stands up and mutters that if Percy does anything that reckless again, not only is she going to make sure that he survives, but she's going to kill him afterwards. And then she's going to walk out of the medical bay.
Honestly, at this point, you probably on dibs.
Wait, why are we killing Percy?
Because he's
Not
a dumb
right
idiot.
Oh, because he was being stupid. Okay, fair enough.
You're a doctor, isn't like preservation of life in that?
I'm a scientist. I never took the oath. Medicine just happens to be one of the areas I studied extensively.
God damn it.
I am no god, but you can swear to me.
All right, that was fantastic. I loved that.
Yeah, Percy, as far as he knows, is just glad that he didn't get out of it with an actual punch.
I mean, he's still in containment, so.
She could have thrown something at him. Wait, shit! I shouldn't be giving Jackal ideas.
We started a little bit late, so do you guys mind pushing the break back a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Let's go have John talk to Siri. Is now a good time for you, Nox?
Sure is.
Okay. Yeah. John wanted to talk to Siri. Siri is currently we'll say that Siri is currently in the galley talking to other people. Percy has been determined stable, and the passive monitoring is sufficient, and so neither Riley nor Siri need to be there. And Siri is in her Doctor Hologram outfit and talking with crew.
Right. Definitely gonna call Siri out for a private word.
Okay. Yeah. Siri disengages with the conversation she's in easily enough. And we'll meet with John.
Yeah. I think I've actually said all that I want to in here, but it's basically important job-related medical tasks were happening, and you weren't there. We needed you there. You do have a job here to do, and on your off time you can do what you want, following whatever other rules are on the ship. But when there's work-related tasks happening, you need to be there, doing your thing.
Are you referring to when you and Riley and Doug? No, not Doug. That's actually character's name. Joseph went back onto the ship.
Yes.
I was presently attending to Percy as I had been instructed.
He was stable.
Understood. Should I, in the future, consider that the captain's orders override the doctor's orders?
No, not now.
You're breaking up just a
Well-
little bit there, Nox.
Oh, I thought that wasn't my end. I was
No, that was Nox breaking up.
okay.
Where'd you lose me?
The whole response to Siri's question.
You said the whole, and then I couldn't hear anything else.
John's response to Siri's question.
Okay. Take it on a case-by-case basis. If there's confusion, we'll open up a three-way channel and talk about it.
Yes, sir. I apologize for neglecting my duty and not making a judgment call. But I didn't think that going aboard to simply check on the remains was of great importance. Certainly less important than the safety of a crew member who may or may not be infected. Did something else happen for which I was needed? I can hear you sweating, Ellie.
I'm not swearing. I'm fine.
Your tone of voice tells a different story, honey.
Fine.
Yeah, so John
honest,
can get a sense just from Siri's questioning here that maybe Siri didn't quite fully know what was happening over there.
Yeah. I guess I don't have the words. I've lost the words to communicate effectively. But the big gist of it is that like stuff needed to happen. Things were secured on the ship. Percy's well quarantined, and he was very safe in the med bay. But we actively had stuff going on in the. I'm going to call it a derelict. In the derelict, and we could have used the extra set of hands.
Yeah, the Siri's only real point here is that she didn't know that there was anything actively happening in the derelict, and she had been told to stay with Percy.
Okay. I will chalk a big chunk of that up to communication failure, but that's a communication failure not from Siri's end. And that'll also need to be rectified.
And Siri did ask if what else had happened in the derelict. Does John tell her?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Siri's asking, does John tell her that parts of this mutant were dissected and taken as samples?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was still active when we got there, so.
Siri says that is very troubling and that she hopes all proper security precautions are being taken.
Absolutely.
They were, and
On a related note, what's a security mission?
All right. Siri, you don't have to respond to this unless you have something for John for it. But she is just going to raise a galactic mandate, medical law, protocol law, something like that, regarding biocontaminants, viral agents, and reference also to some perimeter case study. It's not so much perimeter case law because it doesn't really become law; they just act on overly aggressive Maltech viral kind of development. She's not saying this to act to try and threaten anything. She's just bringing it up as a caution and as a potential conflict with her duty as a medical professional.
We'll tackle it when we have more information, which is why now that we have secured and quarantined samples, we're going to need you on the medical research end of it.
I will go directly to Riley. Thank you, Captain.
Yep.
A little bit of an edge in her voice. And before she's dropped the holographic image at this point, but before she gets to the door and leaves, you kind of see her wobble a little bit. The light that indicates it's purely a for human comfort element. Who she's directing her conversation to swivels over to John, and she says again, "Thank you for informing me of this, Captain. I will include you in all future decision-making that involves any kind of higher judgment call in the future."
Right.
And she swivels that light back around to the door and leaves.
Yay, now I get to deal with her.
Yeah, I think she's going to have some interesting questions there.
Let me. Are we going to have a break now? Oh.
We probably
How
should.
much further do you want to push it?
Let's go ahead and take a break now, so that Ellie can consider how she wants to handle a cross Siri.
I'm gonna bullshit my way through this so hard. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try.
Look,
All of this information will eventually make its way back to me. And then it'll make its way back to you.
Look, we've already had a fucking 2-person masterclass, and I'm gonna bullshit my way through this session. You'll be fine.
All right, we'll take a break. Come on back in about let's try to do 10 minutes this time.
Okay, see you soon.
Okay.
I do hope that I didn't overstep there.
I wouldn't think so, no.
Okay.
I think every PC, given the information that they had, has it's been fine. Like, John didn't know that Siri was, told to stay with Percy, and he knew that there was a need for Siri in there, the derelict.
Okay.
I think it's a perfectly reasonable, hey, you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing, especially when he asked Riley, hey, can Siri come over and do this? And Riley said she's doing her own thing. played out perfectly, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, perfectly for fun. Riley might not be happy about it, but it's played out perfectly for fun at the table. And I'm gonna say as a
The player
GM here.
characters are there.
Oh, go ahead,
I
Varo.
was just gonna say the player characters are there for our amusement. They'll be happy with their lot. This absolutely isn't my second time saying this because I was muted the first time.
Ah. I was gonna add that I additionally like it because it demonstrates John demonstrating leadership. He is putting down a foot um and acting as an authority figure.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well, I have some of you here. What are you guys'
Hello.
thoughts on what you'd like to do next? Do you want to continue scrapping out here, or are you uh gonna take off?
I'm happy to continue scrapping. We still need stuff, and it would be nice
Yeah.
to find out what Union were doing in the sort of broad vicinity of the Furtown row.
Okay.
Mm.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, I think we still want parts. We've got most of the pre-tech we need, but parts would be good and stuff to sell. So we got money, and yeah, I think we sort of started on stuff when Trail arrived. I think we continue with what we were doing then. The logistics ships, I think it was the cargo ones,
Yeah.
plus parts, plus cargo. No pre-tech, I think there were. So
Yeah, I believe you were doing the logistics ships.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
it works. Great. Chill. The moon's very pretty tonight. Also, I know it's not past the session yet, but DM thing. Okay, thing.
Yes. I can certainly look at that in just a moment. So then, yes, to answer your question, it would treat anything except for a combat or a psychic skill as if you have level 0.
No, I'm putting the point in there then.
Okay.
Yeah,
For
that sounds on track with the character.
yeah, it does. It does. For purposes of tracking it, and keeping the whole skill point thing clean, I would ask that you don't actually increase the levels of all your skills. Yeah,
that would be so much of a hassle. Don't
be
worry
so
about it.
messy. Yeah. Yeah, if you end up rolling a skill that you've got -1 and you can just always give yourself that 1 bonus.
Yeah. That was the idea.
Good, good.
What do I spend my skill points on? Oh, wait a minute. There was something else, wasn't there?
Oh.
Probably. There's a lot of somethings.
Pick any skill as an additional bonus skill. What does that do again?
It gives you 3 skill points towards that skill.
Oh, great. Oh, boy. Any?
Yeah.
Any skill?
Any skill. That can even be a combat skill.
Hold on a minute. At what point can I upgrade my heal to a heal 3? That's next level, right?
No, that was level 6.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's
you're
next level.
right. Yes. For you it is. Yeah. You can put
That is
3
right.
skill points into it with your level 5 focus pick. And then when you do reach level 6, you will only need to put 1 more skill point into it.
Yeah, I'll do that, I think.
Yeah.
I'll take note of that somewhere.
Yeah, there's a little note section at the bottom of the sheet.
Aha! Right.
Alright, we are back. Let me go ahead and put us back into frame.
Meow.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Which means that there's a conversation to occur between Siri and Riley.
Have fun. Have fun.
This is about midway into Riley's research into the samples at the lab. You haven't really gotten a whole lot because Well, it's actually quite difficult. Um, what I can tell you that Riley's gotten from the advanced lab, above and beyond what she was able to get with the bioscanner, is
Hold up.
mhm.
I missed everything after you told me about the notes because my internet cut out.
All right, we're gonna have to buy you a new internet.
If you're willing to pay for it, hell yeah.
Um, so what Riley discovers from the samples before Siri comes over and talks to her is that it's very difficult to pin this down. It's being very difficult to actually make more of it. The something in the cellular structure that Riley can't quite pinpoint is causing the cells to continually mutate. Um, is rewriting DNA instructions to try and adapt. Again, something that should take millions of years or some select lucky few evolutionary traits um, um, are occurring within sometimes minutes, sometimes days. It's like there's some kind of intelligence or consciousness or just a brute force check every combination going on being triggered in those cells to work, and it's killing your samples. That's the first thing that is becoming clear to Riley is it is killing her samples. There's no longer a surplus or an inexhaustible surplus of energy. There is still more energy being expended than would appear to be available to the samples. Um, and based on what Riley has seen so far, she can fairly easily conclude that this would be classified Maltech by Perimeter.
Ooh.
Whatever's going on is the kind of it can only have been created by technology, right? This couldn't possibly be some natural organic occurrence. And even if it is a natural organic occurrence somehow, doing things with it technology-wise would definitely be Maltech. Unless
Free tech, you said?
Maltech. Uh,
Wait,
Maltech is Perimeter's definition for any technology that is too gross for humankind, basically.
Oh, so it's
too
not just evil by tech.
gross? Too gross.
Anus, repulsive, reprehensible.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Basically war crimes.
That does narrow it down. Thank you.
There are some definitions of what Maltech is, what easily falls under Maltech on page 62. But so the key line here is the Lost Terran Mandate established 3 categories of technology as Maltech: science, intrinsically vile and disruptive to the peaceful ordering of humanity. Those 3 classifications are. This doesn't fit into them. They are: thou shalt not make tools of humankind, thou shalt not create unbreaked minds, referring to artificial intelligences, and thou shalt not create devices of planetary destruction. Perimeter has
like the one on the ship we're on.
Yeah, Perimeter has taken a has made some of their own definitions, and they're not always consistent, and they're not always clear. But
Fair.
based on examples that Riley has seen classified as Maltech by Perimeter, she's fairly certain that doing anything with this that isn't curing cancer with no side effects would be considered Maltech.
So we could cure cancer with no side effects, is what you're saying.
I'm using
That's
that
fine.
as
I wasn't aiming. I wasn't aiming to cure cancer anyway.
yeah. No, I'm using the cancer as a modern
know,
slang.
I'm-
Like in this future, cancer is cured as long as you can access the proper medical tech.
Mm-hmm.
That would obviously.
So the rich continue to get richer, is what you're saying.
Yes, always. But you know, there's also space cancer to worry about, right?
This is where I would start chanting "Burn the Rich," but then I remember we're space pirates / terrorists. That's what we've been doing for our whole careers.
Yeah, that is what we do.
And I'm proud of
Hell
it.
yeah.
Hey, go team.
We all should be.
So with that, that bit of kind of information that isn't really very good conclusive information, Siri floats into the lab. Her hologram appears to be taking a swift and certain gait, as if she is trying to represent somebody who is walking sternly towards somebody else.
Okay, out of character, I am very amused. I am very amused. That's adorable. In character, I'm just gonna be like,
Yeah.
Can I help you, Siri?
I'm envisioning like a kitten puffing its tail
After
up.
looking up. She's so cute. I love her.
You distracted me, Doctor.
I elaborate on that statement.
You sent me to watch over Percy when it was unnecessary, because you knew that I would object to your activities on the derelict.
Riley's just gonna blink at Siri, like, looking confused. What?
Please do not play coy with me, Doctor. I have heard it from John, firsthand.
You elaborate?
Is elaboration necessary?
Well, yes, I was kind of assuming you came here because something had happened to Percy, but that's not the case, seemingly. What's up?
I'm upset with you, Doctor. That's what's up.
Yes, I am asking you why. I apologize. I am unsure as to why you're upset with me. I do not think I've done anything that would give you reason to be.
I feel a trust has been betrayed.
Riley looks genuinely confused, by the way, just making that clear.
I understand that. That makes sense.
Okay, you still haven't told me why?
Well, as I laid out, I believe that you set me to the task of watching over Percy when it wasn't necessary, so that I could not be called over to the derelict where you were dissecting mutagenous samples, which you're undoubtedly researching in here.
My intent of having you watch over Percy had nothing to do with you not being allowed to. Did you want to come along? I am so sorry.
Do you mean that?
To ask you, and I said, yes, I wasn't aware you would be. I mean, you didn't want to get yourself into dangerous situations, and it might have been dangerous, but not overly so. So I didn't think you'd want to get in.
Isn't that why you sought me as a companion, as someone who could get into dangerous theaters?
Well,
Ooh.
yes, but you did claim you didn't want that. Well, I mean, sure, that's why you were hired, but that doesn't mean it always needs to be the case when it was relatively safe still.
I would think that an
Safe.
electo drone is less susceptible to viral mutagens, and my presence would have been safer than putting yourself or any other crew at risk.
Oh, she's got you again.
Riley just kind of opens her mouth before processing that statement, and then closes it and goes,
In fact,
what?
as a flying drone,
Right, I had
there
forgotten
needn't
that.
have been any humans in that derelict at all.
Riley looks mildly uncomfortable, and she's just like, yeah, you're right. I did overlook that in my excitement. I'm sorry.
I want us to have a working relationship, Doctor, so I will accept your apology and your explanation, but please do include me, even if it means that I may object to. And that little light, yeah, that little light looks around the lab, just kind of suggestively. She's not looking at anything specific, but it's very clear that she's looking at, she's sweeping the lab with her eyes, so to speak.
I feel like I have like a little sister or a daughter that I've upset by accidentally moving her out. I feel bad. Okay.
Well played, Dex. Well played.
This is all very dangerous, Doctor.
Yes, but this is. Well, this is not precisely what I wanted to study, but it's very close, sort of. It's.
Bulletproof argument. It's close, sort of.
It's. I'm sorry, I got too excited and hyper focused on getting what I wanted rather than thinking things through.
That is understandable.
Is it?
Yes.
You have the same.
I can relate sometimes. As you may know, get fixated on asking questions, and
this is true. It's very cute. Even if it can get a bit exasperating.
How can I help you with this project?
Oh, well, let's see. Well, I'm currently still trying to see if it's infectious, mostly to secure if Percy can actually leave containment. That'd be nice if we had one of our crew back. But other than that, I've been mostly gathering data to sift through later.
Of course, data would help us to treat any infected crew, should any crew be infected in the future. And of course, you would avoid any risk of declaration of Maltech by perimeter. And she very quickly recites the same thing that she mentioned to John about galactic mandate findings of, or I guess a galactic mandate supporting perimeter finding of Maltech, and some of the case studies that perimeter has made that have found it into galactic mandate law regarding viruses and mutagens and those kinds of more organic Maltech things that don't fall easily in the thing.
Riley's going to scrunch up her nose and just kind of look mildly disgusted, but like professionally disgusted. Like, oh no, that was such a waste of the technology. Now, if anything, this would be very useful for healing, say, lost body parts, or perhaps mildly increasing one's capacity to heal. But using it to kill? How barbaric.
You are a very noble, Doctor, and I'll help you in that.
No, I wouldn't say it's noble to want to not waste resources, but sure.
Little did Sarah realise she's Dr. Jekyll to your Miss Hyde.
I'll admit I've never interacted with Jekyll and Hyde, so I don't get that.
Nice doctor takes you and turns into Monster Man.
Aww. Wait, which one is the Monster Man?
Hyde.
Ah, okay, thank you. That does
Siri will assist with Riley's study, and she's she's made her point about barriers, although may have been a little bit too subtle. All she did is cite the risks and not her specific objections.
See, she needs to get more assertive about seeing the risk of things if she has any.
She probably could be, yes.
Riley's just gonna kind of ask Siri if she had anything fun that she learned during her play date.
She says no. This person just slept through most of it.
Huh. Well, did you learn anything interesting from? Was this your first case of containment for potentially hazardous substances?
Can you repeat that?
Was this your first case of having to monitor someone who was potentially infected by malware?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't. Was it any different of the other times? Besides my faux pas.
I've assisted in monitoring quarantined and infected organisms, mostly human, many times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Why'd you do that?
She will talk about some times when she has quarantined or been used in medical services through war and mercenary time. Siri is fairly old, being an electro drone, and she does comment on she does have some experience with let me double check real quick one thing here. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay. Yes. Just wanted to confirm that, yeah, Electos are pre-tech, which means that they are pre-scream. So she has seen some actual TL5 type viruses, and just not specifically. I'm using viruses as like a shorthand. Infections, diseases, viruses, bacteria. Pathogens. Thank you.
Riley is going to ask what Siri remembers of like when her kind was still being produced. Of the people there, the technologies, the upgrades that they might have been putting into people, whether cybernetic or biological or any other type. Specifically, preferably the biological.
Well, she wasn't directly involved, but she can speak a little bit of the deliberate genetic processes that resulted in the Trin and the Bro.
Oh.
She doesn't actually have any detail. She just was around at the time when that was going on.
Oh, fascinating. Do you think that if you could compare, how big are your data banks? How far back do they go?
Her databanks are not that big, and she makes that pretty clear that she cannot hold hundreds of years of complex data.
No, is there any chance you have any stored samples from before whatever happened, that basically made it so that we know basically jack fucking shit about what used to go on.
Unfortunately not, Doctor.
That's a shame. It would have been fascinating to learn what the potential differences might have been that were implemented to result in a Trin and the others. Oh well.
I may, however, know of some locations on Trinus of Fade where such data could be found.
Oh? You know. Ah.
I would be
But,
happy to relay them to the captain if I were able to fully trust there would be no abuse of such technology.
Well, what do you consider an abuse, darling? See, I'm personally more invested in the information stored there. I'm not actually sure what the what kind of technology is actually stored there. Certainly not after such long of time. After those locations have been previously looted, I'm simply unaware. Would you happen to know what kind of technology is there, so we could judge? So, I could have a see if I could infer from what I've seen so far, from what you've seen so far in the crew, if that might be open for abuse.
Anyone else think that sounds like it needs a perform check?
I do think it's time to call for a charisma talk check.
Talk check.
Yep.
Charisma talk check.
Yeah, this is a little bit more than just a performance here.
I'm rolling that again. I'm using that thing.
Good luck. What, just give me a 4?
Oh, 10? That's pretty good.
Up by 4, I told you!
That's not what
good
you
save, good save.
Yeah, that's me also rolling a 10 on my talk check there.
With that, Riley says that she is going to... Yes, Siri deflects with basically saying that what will be considered an abuse will have to be an ongoing conversation. She is not willing to put into stone anything. Just like before, she's not willing to commit anything, and is basically making everything a subjective case by case.
Oh, of course, darling. Really, it's your people's work in some way, I suppose, isn't it? It's only right that you get to have the final cop over it. Let me know if you'd like to talk, theoretically or otherwise, about it.
Should we be interested in this, and here's where a 10 comes in, then we should arrange a meeting with the captain and the full bridge crew, so that everyone can know the words. She's not stuttering or hesitating. I am. The potential. Yeah, she basically says the potential rewards and risks associated. Funny enough, the word I was stumbling on was for. The potential for rewards and the associated risks. Brain, come on.
Sure, I most certainly wouldn't mind having that conversation. Though, well, she blinks a couple times. I've actually kind of forgotten why we're in this area. Suppose I'll have to ask. Do you remember?
Yes. The ship crew was scavenging the Ferretinera for pre-tech components.
Ah, right. Yes, that is why we're here. So I get very distracted, darling. Nervous chuckle. The nervous chuckle is like in character because Riley got distracted and forgot. Look, you gave her something interesting. How is she not supposed to be like, ooh, shiny?
Siri
Except
will.
Shiny is a bloody mess, but.
Right. Siri will help Riley analyze and try to make some more sense of these samples, but that's going to take more time.
Meanwhile, Percy is abandoned.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks.
see.
I mean, I suppose we could open up a comm link and while we just happily discuss, oh, look at what this strain does to your body. I'm sure that'll calm him down.
I
Watch
just
his
saw
face, that
Meowkin's
worked for you.
comment.
God, what did he say?
Maybe
Oh,
we are
right.
trending back towards terrorism.
yeah.
My bad.
Yes.
I mean, we kind of are. We kind of are.
It's fine. A little bioterrorism never hurt anybody on the ship.
Uh, all right. There's one last thing that's happening before you guys continue on with the looting of the graveyard. And that is... Let me get to it. So I'm gonna link... I'm gonna link back to... I can't... I have to... Why Discord? Why? Okay. Copy message link. Linking back to that. And I think it's probably Siri that takes note of this first, and says that a set of unencrypted audio files has been discovered.
What? Sorry, where did we find these?
Well, Sirius found them just on the ship's computers.
Ooh. Yes, please. Wait, this is like. Ooh, wait, yes, no, actually, please. Do we recognize any of the voices?
Oh no, no. You'd have to read back to the early one, and also it's the current gear is 3250.
Yeah, this is around about stream time, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I don't remember this original message happening.
Yeah, this was when you were you'd taken the Fair Tenor Rose black box, and and Acid was at work with the computer, basically decrypting and putting the corrupted file back together. At a point, as seen in the earlier post, she stopped, like she was presenting them to you at each point. As that first one came up and was uncorrupted, you guys got a notification from Acid with the recording of the message, and they stopped after the fourth one. These have been decrypted and evident. They've been viewable and listenable since mere days after after you were in the graveyard and at the Fair Tenor the very first time. They just never got reported to you guys and have been sitting on the computer.
Right. Wait, so the only person who currently knows of this is Siri and Riley?
Oh, well, yes, but hold on. Because Siri has just notified John.
So Riley was just going to ask, hey, did anyone else access these previously to Siri? But if John has been warned. John, where are we?
Well, if Riley does ask that, because she doesn't know that Siri is
Right,
sent
I
this to
do
John.
ask that, yes.
Siri says, it does not appear so. The 2642 1223 audio file was viewed once and has been sitting there since then. The other two were unviewed. I've just sent a message to John informing him.
I see. Are there any other files available publicly, unencrypted?
None that have not been already accounted for by crew members on the ship.
Hmm. I see. Thank you. I'm curious. The mystery of this ship. Don't you think so?
This is less of a mystery, Doctor, and simply acid dropped the ball.
Please don't say that to her face. The others say she's rather prickly. I mean, I don't think she's rather prickly, but the others seem to think so. Better safe than sorry.
Put it this way, it was hard enough to get one electrodrone.
Well, yeah. I haven't known acid for long, but yeah, honestly, I respect it. I would drop that hard.
Yeah, Jesus.
Wait, are we in the lab right now?
Yes, you are.
The same lab that the acid works in?
Yes.
Did acid hear any of this?
She's not currently there.
Oh, thank fuck. Like that's out of character. In character, Riley would probably not have had an issue.
Yeah, yeah. And also Riley knew that acid wasn't here, so you're good.
Okay, good. Right. Is John on his way? Or has he responded? Has he read it yet?
I've seen Nox typing.
Wait, can you tell if someone's read your messages on these things? Surely you can. Surely Siri would be able to.
Oh, well, I think Siri probably sent it over as just a quick audio communication. Nox, if you want, John could absolutely just be engaged in a conversation with Siri while she's talking to Riley. You know, internal communications and all.
Benefits of being an AI. VI.
Yep.
I'd gone off of the assumption that it was a text-based message, and so it would be easy to forward it out.
Yeah, that works too.
Plus acid and Libra. Uh-oh.
Well, it looks like the crew is going back to
The bridge?
the conference room.
Wait, did John forward it to Riley as well? Because in that case, Riley's just going to be, alright, to the bridge probably then. Conference room? One of the two.
The bridge is usually, or the conference room is usually more secure because with the bridge, you've typically got a pilot there. It's safe enough to kick them out, but it then becomes obvious that, hey, there's, sensitive discussion. Whereas the conference room is just, we're all discussing.
We have a fancy big table, might as well use it.
Yes. All right. Does everyone attend?
Well, I, for one, am a little bit bashed and battered.
But that's okay. Kawana is there with Percy. I'm gonna take a quick second to kind of shift the focus over there, the camera over there for just a moment. Kawana has come to visit Percy. This is as you guys are approaching your next pocket of ships. Like you had chosen this, you had diverted from this one, from the pocket of ships that Natario had identified as being a good pocket for you, over to this one because it was closer and let you set up faster. It's not a great source, and you guys continued on your way after exchanging goodbyes with the Howling Trapper.
Mm.
Um, and so you're about half a day away from reaching that pocket of resource-rich ships. This means that Percy's had about another half a day, and Kawana has, on her own, unbidden, come to check up on him. Because Kawana.
Yeah, because
I love
Kwan
that that's
good enough reason, yeah.
I love that that's just a valid reason.
Yeah, like we all know what he's talking about when he says that.
Just Koana.
Yeah, Kwan doing Kwan things.
Yep. She checks to make sure that he's awake. He couldn't not be awake because she big old clumpy boots. She still
Yeah,
doesn't know how to
yeah.
control that. Percy, are you okay?
I mean, I'd be impressed if you could find me a person that was okay after going through that kind of beating, but yeah, I'm about as okay as I get lately. What's up? Come in. There's a seat over there.
I just wanted to say that I think what you did was very admirable, and
Oh.
aside from the part of missing Elise, that
Yeah.
I mean, the heat of the moment, but it was kind of
Yeah.
sweet, and you know, you were very brave. That could have been an action sequence in a Holovid.
Yeah, I'll be
Oh,
honest, I'm not quite sure what happened myself. Like, we've been super close for a while, and she's pretty obviously, and
and she's
like,
so cool.
yeah, of course. And like, what way is there to explain all that in words when there's a fucking Hulk thing 3 times the size of us bearing down on us, and then you go and fucking distract it?
You don't have to explain it. I think it's an awesome heat of the moment thing, and I hope I get my heat of the moment kiss one day, or give one.
Huh.
But
Yeah. Who says you have to be the one getting one? You go out there, girl.
yeah, I will.
But yeah, yeah, you're a lot more understanding about it than Elise was actually.
Oh no, did you talk to her about it?
Yeah, she came by and visited, and it was uh mostly it was along the lines of like it wasn't really necessary. We probably still could have escaped, and you had a date for almost getting yourself killed and etc. And
Well, duh, she's right. But
look,
that doesn't
look, it was
change what you did, though.
yeah, um, yeah. I mean, like my head didn't have time to calculate, like count through the whole thing. I just knew we'd set up a bunch of barricades. Didn't know how everyone was getting through them. I knew he would just fucking barrel through them, and somebody distracts Pisses just sort of shrugs helplessly. Someone distracts him from the corridor, or he tramples us all down from behind as we're trying to flee. And yeah, I didn't want to see them hurt.
Koana is nodding along.
But yeah, yeah, at least mostly said that was an idiot, and
Well,
yeah, I wasn't quite sure whether I need. I actually said to her, I'm not sure whether I need to apologize. What was that said again? I
it's
wasn't
a
sure whether I needed to apologize for kissing her or not apologize for kissing her, and then I sort of explained what I said to you, and honestly, it looked like she was about to punch me for a minute, but then she just sort of froze for a second, went stiff, and then Yeah, it's a bit hazy. I think she said something kind of sarcastic and left.
I think it was big, dumb, and heroic.
Just like you.
Yeah, that's more or less what I was going for, I think.
I bet Vicky could reconstruct that the scene in VR if you want.
I appreciate it, but I think I'm happy I'm not.
You don't want to see how awesome you looked?
I still see him fucking transforming in the naps that I've managed to get over the past
Oh,
day
I
or so.
didn't think about that. I'm sorry, Percy.
Yeah, nah, it's fine, but like, imagine you're back on Mona and you see Rajon just sweating and twitching and then he turns into that
It's horrible.
and crushes someone like a bug. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, I need to sort of eggshells a bit. But it's early to see whether I'm okay or not, but the pain meds are really good at least. The doc knows on stuff.
Kawana
How about you?
will
How's with you?
try to distract him.
Yeah, yeah.
She is happy to talk about some of the things that she experienced on Mona.
Yeah,
Eh,
just general pleasant chatter to distract Percy from what
Yeah.
just happened.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a charisma talk check.
Okay, give me a sec.
Or connect.
I think my talk is better, but I'll double check that.
Remember, they do mean
Okay.
different things, though.
Yeah, they're both 0, so I think I'm gonna go for connect.
Okay.
That's a 9.
Kawana also talks about some of the more secretive things that she learned on Mona, things that she's not supposed to talk about. You know how it's a kind of a mystery why she thinks all food is good, even if it's pure sugar.
Huh.
Yeah. No, she doesn't talk about that. She mentions how she kind of relates the heroic action of Percy as a flesh and blood person to some of the mech combat training that she went into. And you learned that Mona has mechs.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Aren't those like fucking pre-tech anti-nuke platforms or something?
Yes, they are very, very pre-tech and very. They're between Starship and Grav Tank, and a single mech would probably be comparable to like a couple of strike fighters,
Huh.
maybe one or two. A platoon of mechs could, of course, do some hurt to frigate size, but their weapons wouldn't be able to punch through larger ship armor.
Well, not with that attitude, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and apparently Koana is a mech pilot. I can add that into ship, mech, and planetary weapons.
Yeah, in that case, Percy's gonna suggest. You know what? You said that Vicky's good at like construction simulations, right?
Yeah, she's very good at it.
Do you think that like from either stuff from Mona or just on the OmniNet or whatever, even just from your memories, do you think you could construct a mech pilot like training simulation, like the kind of thing you would have used? Partly so you can stay.
No. You can't tell anyone that I told you that.
Oh shit! Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, no, I was just thinking like.
I'd get
it'd
in
be nice
so
to
much
just
trouble
go
with Granza.
What for? What? I didn't hear you say anything.
Thanks, Percy.
It's just that nothing you mentioned would be both good for you, we're at a thing, and also really cool.
It would
would be fun. Maybe we can find one of those VR games and set some of that up.
You know that's not a bad shout.
Can't
But-
come from me, but I'm gonna beat you. I know I'll beat you.
That sounds like a challenge. And Percy just sort of like gives her a smirk and then goes, "Ow, my jaw, ow." And rubs her face.
Anything else you want to add to that before we skip over to the conference room?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, yeah. Idle chatter from there. She keeps her mouth closed about Mona's secrets. After that. And then probably a few hours later, you get called over to the conference room. Oh, Das is joining.
Oh wow.
Yeah. If the thing got sent over, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's quite funny. Everyone else going in looking quite put together and serious, and then Percy walks in looking like he's just been the fucking Incredible Hulk's punching bag, which he basically has.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine he's not the only one surprised that he's able to make it there under his own steam.
All right. Nox, what does John want to say here? You don't have to say it in character if you want to summarize.
Oh, I was muted. Cool.
Ah, yes.
What's Mona?
Oh, Mona is one of the first planets that they went to in after the campaign started, and where Koana came from.
Ah, I see. Koana's home planet. Got it.
It's basically a little, almost suspiciously ordered, idyllic little utopia
Yeah.
with a slightly concerning number of guards. Radion's her
Don't
grandpa,
worry.
and kind of the
Don't worry.
head honcho. We used to
Don't
go
worry
there.
about it. It's fine.
We used to go there a lot,
Almost.
but we lost our memories, and
Let me
that's
see.
and Koana like not quite hero worshipped at least, but not a million miles away off it either.
Fair enough.
She actually tried to stalk us to join the crew. Very ineptly, but she tried to stalk us.
Yeah.
she rolled like a 2 on the stealth, I think.
So what you're saying is she's adorable.
Yes, yeah, of course. Yeah, and it was also her grandpa Vajon who got us set up with our first black box, which is why we were able to, interact with the rest of the world without them going, wait, you're extremely suspicious.
Yes.
It was like, do you want a random pre-tech gizmo, or would you like a black box? I mean, black box, black box, black box.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Nox, take it away.
The bare gist of it is, once everyone's in there and we've closed the door, play through the audio logs. Say that this is a thing that we've had since X time.
Mm-hmm.
We should have probably had this discussion X period ago. And then move the floor to Acid, who would have been the one that had found it.
Hmm.
Riley's gonna flinch.
Acid says, it must have slipped in the chaos of what we were doing.
It was pretty chaotic. A lot going on.
It was.
Anyone with notice 1 or better can have seen that the acid did tighten up as the first of the new clips is played.
Do we recognize any of the voices?
No, they're all over 600 years old.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, okay, not all of them are over 600 years old.
They're all about 600 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. We're all that era.
Mm.
Yep.
Percy visibly winces a little bit when the bit comes along where the little girl's voice is talking about, "Hey, I love you, daddy."
Mm-hmm. Was Siri brought into this?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Riley brought Siri.
Was Siri properly in?
Because she's next to Percy, I imagine she's just poking him like, "Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt?"
She's not. She's not. Let's see. Ellie, would you mind rolling a skill check for Siri? Not proficient.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Let me get out of bed. I was laying in bed. Don't worry about it. Where is Siri? How do I do that again?
There's a little row of squares at the top right. One of them says skill under it.
Click. No, I'm trying to find Siri.
Oh. Siri? Oh, I don't think I gave you a pog? Huh. I thought I did.
I can't find her.
Yeah, no, neither can I, so you're fine. Just roll 2d6 since it's not proficient. That's all she gets. And that's there you go.
I didn't roll bad.
You didn't roll bad. Okay.
8's pretty solid.
Average.
Siri. Hmm. Siri moves the conversation forward. She says, how will this information be useful, Captain?" Perhaps the computers of the Fairtinero will have more information about these entities or black ships. Is that something that we should be concerned about?
It sounds big enough to make a note of. Certainly no harm in getting more information once the heat dies down over there.
Yeah. Black Ships is like, it's an ominous name, but it's not so ominous that it's like someone naming themselves something edgy just to try and seem intimidating, you know?
Yeah. We found that carrier bay, right?
You did.
Yeah.
The black ships also sound like a name someone else gave them rather than something they gave themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
It implies a lack of knowledge.
Yeah. And yet, black ships, it still sounds menacing, so like, We don't know much about it, but it's scary.
I
I would be
Yeah.
inclined to think that since these messages were 600 years old, that whatever threat was faced is past. However, I reviewed your footage of conflict and contact and conflict with what seemed to be animate members of the Fairtinero crew.
Yeah, yeah.
I no longer believe that 600 years is such a gulf of time.
Yeah, and Elise said that she saw some kind of lights coming out of them. Nobody else did.
There was no. I saw no light coming out of any of them on cameras. On your
I don't
feed.
know
Exactly.
if the light would have been picked up by the camera, so it was kind of, I don't know, faint, small.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, I'm inclined to believe her, honestly.
Noted.
Because just nods in Elise's direction without actually looking at her. Yeah, so there's definitely something going. Honestly, we really do need to look back to the third turnaround. I'm curious now.
Mm.
And even if it doesn't have the answers, maybe it has pieces of more of the questions.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What until we find out.
Mm.
All right. that's a fairly good point there, Meowkin.
I feel like you're referring to something in particular. I just don't remember what.
Every time Elise has seen something.
Oh, but yeah, the visions. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah, you know when you put it that way, yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to say in character or raise as a in character summary regarding these tapes and black ships and entities?
Oh, Percy sort of snaps his fingers a couple of times while he's thinking. It's not related to this, but I did think of something I wanted to run past you. But finish talking about this first.
Yeah. All right. Well, was that? I heard something blip over there, Knox. Were you trying to say something?
Guess not.
Nope. Still just hearing noises. All right.
Yeah.
So does this
Sorry,
mean?
if you're talking to me, no.
Okay. Does this?
My audio device died, so I'm going through speaker now.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha. Does this mean that after you do you want to spend a week salvaging these logistics ships and then go back to the Fairtinero, or do you want to turn around and make your way back to the Fairtinero right now?
I feel like I'm the first one to talk a lot of the time, so I'll wait to hear another opinion first.
Are we particularly in any rush to find out?
I mean, it's been 600 years, right?
It's been 600 years.
I think as long as we find out relatively soon, it doesn't have to be like immediate.
Yeah, I think it's a salvage.
Yeah, we just,
What's another month in after 600 years?
yeah, we're just curious to find, like, we're finding out at the speed of curiosity. Although Doug raises a good point about whether Union is still floating about in that region of space. I do still want to know what they were looking at.
Yeah, my preference would be keep an eye on them. Once they leave, we hop in and see what's going on, both with their thing and with the Fairtinero.
So having been in the same region of, go ahead, Knox.
Could we employ precognition to find out which one would be the safer option for us?
You possibly could. I believe Elisa's visions go that far out, but I'll give you more information first. Having been in the same region as them and securing a detection lock, you know they're still there.
Unless they try and hide from us, we just keep vision
Yes.
where they are, right?
no matter where they go, unless they do something either inadvertently or deliberately to try and shake the lock, then you're going to know where they are throughout the whole system.
Yeah. So we'll know at least when those ships try to leave, and then we'll be able to see, whether we want to go in.
Apologies.
Bless you. So at the moment, yes, those ships are still there, and I believe you guys also got I probably should have had you roll it at the time, but I'm gonna say that Das is good enough to have made the roll anyways. When the bigger ship came in, you got a detection lock on that, and you know that that's still there also.
Yeah. I mean, the thing. So the what they're looking at going when they leave, that's probably true, but I don't know what. Like, unless we can do the precog thing, I don't think there's much we can do to do anything about that because we don't have weapons to really challenge them.
Yeah. As for
we could salvage for scrap until we've got weapons and hope they're still there. It might be that we get all the scrap for the weapons and they're still there, and then we've got working weapons and we can go shoot them.
A possibility, but
unlikely.
We'll mark that as Plan C at best.
You will have to go back to the fueling station for resupply of life support before then, I imagine.
Yes.
Probably.
Let's see. So you arrived in Muron. That was 2 Muron on the 14th. And from Pana. So that's a very quick jump for you, just 2 days. Oh, right, I did continue my timeline here. So yeah, you've got until April 16th-ish to do whatever you want out here. You've basically got about a month.
It's March 24th, so about.
We're rapidly approaching March 24th. Yeah, that's funny. We may actually cross paths.
Yeah.
What's important about March 24th? What's important about March 24th again?
It's the current
That's the current date. I mean.
Right. Yeah. Never mind.
It was like it's about a month. I could make a joke about today's date, and that was almost right.
You were.
In fairness, how often before have we crossed over real life with the in-game universe, apart from the fact that we are piloting some of the characters?
Valid.
Alright, so it sounds like you're going to salvage a wreck out here first. Did you want to do... Well, was it, that's your current plan. Did you want to have Elise run a vision? Or ask Jackal if Elise would see a vision? Taking into account that Jackal has portrayed Elise's visions as not always just voluntary. In fact, I don't think he's had them once voluntary.
I'm fine with it. I just need to know what the question we want to ask is, or questions.
I think it was if trying effectively to use it as a way to figure out roughly what's there, like if we go there, what happens, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
If we go see what Union's looking at, but we may not find much with the vision. We may just get, they shoot us.
Yeah, you're kind of asking for it is kind of a vague thing. What happens isn't usually a good question, but it's always going to be an answer. So something like we fly at them and ask if we can help. Well, what happens? I guess what happens is a good question. It's just the always question. Sorry, I was being pedantic. Or we start on our way to go and attack them. What happens? Questions like those.
I am curious to know what would happen if we tried to play nice.
Hmm. I suspect I know the answer to that. We'd be fine right up until the point we get in visual range, and then they go, "Wait, I know that ship."
I like I like how you said how we try to play nice, like you're already implying we'll fail.
Okay, to which I reply, have you met us?
Yes, I have. You make a valid point, but it doesn't make it less funny.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, even if this crew was replaced by people who were going to be nice, I don't think Union would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, we are by all metrics nicer than we were before.
Well, indeed, that's effectively what's happened, and I still don't think Union's going to buy it.
Oh yeah, we're not the Raza. See, we have an Elise instead of a Sarah, and we're not all vicious assholes. And plus Das.
Yeah, Das is still here. Das is just sort of, yeah.
No, just excluding Das from the vicious assholes before, but.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, yeah, and Das is still here, like, just chilling, you know. It's like Das just comes with the ship. There's not a.
honestly, you're as much a part of the ship as Android is, and she's not even here. I still can't believe that Android only went by Android.
Okay, so we've definitely got some interest in a precog vision, and Jackal has said that he'd be fine with Elise, but
not being able to stop it.
So do we want to keep the scene in this conference room as you're discussing next plans and your interest in the Ferretinero's data, as well as whatever it is that Union was looking at out there?
There was something else that Percy wanted to raise before we moved away from this scene.
Okay.
Overall, yeah. So Percy's going to mention that obviously he's had time to think in between the distracting amounts of pain and the sleep. And he remembers that like each time he happened to be looking at one of the walls that had kind of a panel on it, like just very faintly. And he went, wait, it reminded him of the panel that we found that had that pre-tech question mark cube behind it right after we got access to the ship before we even landed on Stet. And how it at least warned us away from touching it before we blew up the entire ship and ourselves with it. And basically just like, did we ever look at that again? I don't think we ever looked at that again, did we?
We did not.
I mean, if nothing else, if we can take it apart safely, it's materials. Anyways, yeah, not a concern for like right this minute, but just a thing that I remembered while I was, not doing anything else.
Is that something you guys want to dig out of the the paneled up storage?
Somebody get ready to increment the session since near TPK counter.
Yep.
Actually, who am I kidding? We might have to wipe it at this rate.
Sure. Plus, it would be nice to see what happens if we just let it do its thing. Purely via psychic intent.
Yeah, just remember, Psychic Content is a person as well, and she's only got so much juice, and also we shouldn't just be using her as a dowsing rod.
If I
I
recall,
think we put it
Meowkin,
back where
yeah.
we found it.
And then just like, I don't know, welded a panel over the hole you cut or something.
More or less, yeah. Yeah, it's been sitting there the whole time. It's a good thing we didn't rattle it too hard.
I think we described the hole as being covered by cardboard at one point. With the introduction of new crew, I would hope that you guys paneled that up. Acid and Libra at least would have.
I'd like to think so, yeah. I'm surprised Acid didn't bring it up, honestly, but then Kajillion other things. We were extremely overextended at the time, you're right.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Right, yeah, so like session 2, we found basically a hole in the ship's wall somewhere, and there was this big pre-tech cube. We think it was pre-tech, so we poked it, and it started pulsating and rippling with energy. So we unpoked it, like moved away from it, and everything exploded into metaspace. And then Elise woke up from her psychic prevision and went, "Don't fucking touch that!" So we just left that alone.
Right. Siri? Does any of that sound familiar to you?
Ah, that is a good question. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to answer Nox's question in the chat real quick. Not really, because the vision, no matter how many times you try it, is always going to give the same answer until you guys physically change some variable. Or wait a week and try again. And the question or any similar set of questions are always going to have the same answer, the same vision. And the vision is always going to be the most significant thing that occurs. So in a basic question, if you say we go there and we try to negotiate with them, you're going to get the most significant thing that would occur from that negotiation. I might be open to well, no. I think I wouldn't want to limit it to just pick a course of oracular action, and that's it. I don't think I want to entertain. All right, we oracle what happens if we negotiate with them, and that doesn't work well. All right, we oracle what happens if we attack them. I want to keep that as like, this is still the same basic event. If you come up with something completely different, then sure, but we don't want to use Oracle as the safe scum.
Yeah, that's
Yep,
I only yeah.
Like is it? It's not a real question. I was musing to myself on the discussion channel.
Dang it. I do take things too seriously sometimes. I apologize.
It does say right there at the start of it, this is probably rules logic abuse, so it isn't a real question.
Yeah, it does.
Although, in fairness, I didn't see it either until they pointed it out.
Yeah, I still think it's a valid question, and by when I say I take things too seriously, I don't mean like I get upset by things. I think I try to answer them as if joking questions are asked seriously, and don't always catch when they were intended as a joke. Viral gets me on that all the time.
Yeah, it would absolutely be safe scumming.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible that, like, if we decide to negotiate with them, what could happen is they go, yeah, sure, we work together for a bit, we find something, then they realise we're the Vaza, and they fight us, and all we see from what happens if we negotiate with them is them fighting us, and we go, okay, let's not.
So, let's do one thing first. Ginja. Or Ginger, depending on what you prefer. I think you said Ginja because I pronounced it Jif. So, Ginja, go ahead and roll me a int program not hacking.
Int program not hacking.
I know I said I wasn't going to have you roll for this, and you still got the information, you still got the detection lock on the incoming ship. This is...
Ew, that's a bad roll.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a bad roll.
To determine if you get more details of the incoming ship.
Ooh.
You haven't re-rolled this, remember?
That's not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's a bad roll. That's a 5 plus modifiers on 3 dice.
Okay.
So I'm gonna re-roll that.
All right.
That's more like it. Yeah. That's more like it.
Yeah. More like
is that
it's
enough,
definitely
Dex?
max.
Does a 17 pass the check?
A 17 absolutely passes the check and passes along enough information that John, in conjunction with some data in your computer banks, can identify this is the ship that came in. That's the Union ship that came into whatever they found of interest.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the ship, and this is the captain, and this is his hobbies, and this is what he had for breakfast this morning, and
That is one of Union's biggest and most fearsome ships, and it's reasonable to assume that if that's a ship that came to investigate whatever the the 3 frigates found, then it was more than just, hey, look at this shiny rock.
Mm.
They are bringing in an elite service to protect whatever they found instead of just putting a minimum wage guard in front of it.
So it's worth trying to steal under their noses, is what I'm hearing here.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, so it's worth trying to steal from under their noses, is what I'm hearing here.
Yinja.
See, Ginja gets me.
Yes.
Yeah, thing is, I'm looking at those stats, like, that is... Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. If we do that, we probably never come in this system again.
Yeah, unless
or at least not for a while.
What do you mean?
but
You just took out their strongest ship. What else are they going to bring there?
Honestly, that's a fair point.
That is a fair point. However, I will point out, right, given those stats, we cannot fight that.
Yeah, probably.
We cannot fight that. I think Raza with full strength, it's still we could do it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have more speed, but those guns.
Yeah, you had advantage against the destroyer because its primary weapons only had armor piercing 10, and it did have one torpedo launcher for armor piercing 20, but you know you were able to negate a lot of damage from the mag spike arrays on the smaller ships.
Yeah.
This one,
yeah. AP20 is going to cut through our armor completely. 3d6 plus 3.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. And
we have 60 hit points, but 3d6 is what, 10?
Yeah.
So that's 13 a hit. That shreds through us in about 4 or 5 hits.
Yeah. I mean,
and they've got 3 of them, so 4 or 5 hits could very easily happen in like a few rounds.
If you're going by averages, then sure. But does last session not show that averages don't?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Although in fairness, that could mean the opposite thing, and we go down in a flash.
Yeah.
Also,
well, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the modifiers there, they'll hit us about half the time. It's about 50-50. So
yeah, I can't really dispute that one. Trail did hit what was the time like expected. But yeah, American makes an excellent point. We really need to get our finger out on finding the infradrive.
Yeah. If we had the infradrive, we could go in there, fly past, get a view, and then just run away, and we know what we've got.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, cooey, over here, boop.
yeah. Which, to be fair, like I think the ideal thing when we have the Raza back up to full strength and we have the infradrive, right? If we're still stealth by that point and Union doesn't know we're here, I think we absolutely just find like a major Union planet and just buzz the ATC tower, and then just pop out of existence.
Maybe
Either that, or we just function as the fucking boogeyman of Union. We just occasionally just completely decimate one of their ships and then vanish six signals away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious to know what Meowkin's cooking, but yeah, for now,
Yeah.
do we just watch what they're doing, or do we try and get involved?
I think if they're bringing something that size, we can't do much in the state we're in.
That's true. So do
I'd
we
like to, but
yeah. So do we stick about the fur row then, or do we just fuck off at the sector until it cools down?
I think we can salvage. I don't want to be in the same region though.
That's fair. That's very
I think
fair.
because the thing is also we need parts rather than pre-tech right now.
Yeah.
So if we just keep hitting these logistics ships, get the
Yeah.
parts,
Yeah.
we can build up parts.
Do you also
get the
remember
guns working?
Do you also remember we also need information?
We do. We do.
That would be the point of going to the first in a row.
Yeah. But we can't stay there very long.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll go back to that later then. Like Ellie said earlier.
Like I don't think we can really challenge Union for whatever they've found. If we hit some logistics ships for a while, they might leave, and then we can go to the Fertinero and get information as well, without worrying about like what we do there attracting attention.
So, we're coming up on the end of our session here. I do want to let you guys have the vision for at least if you, now that you know what ship Union has out there. I wanted you to know that because I felt like that could very much influence your question. You're not as likely to ask what happens if we just go at them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, do you have another question that you want to ask to try and figure out what's going on with whatever interesting thing Union found?
I mean, I have a question, but you're not going to answer it.
Is it what's going on with the interesting that Union found?
No, it's what is the interesting thing that they found? Yeah, what are Acid and Libra's thoughts on all this? They were there too, but they stayed kind of quiet.
They have been quiet. Also, Siri was asked about the device. We actually have a couple of lingering questions. Do you guys mind going a little bit late, or should we just skip the review at the end of this session?
I'm happy going late.
I actually have to leave a little bit early. Not
guess
early,
not
but I'd be able to stay late.
But you wouldn't be able to stay late. Okay. Let me give you Siri's response on the device that you found in your ship. Because that one's actually pretty easy. Siri doesn't have any information about any such device. In fact, what you can describe with Metaspace with what happened with Metaspace seems even odder because at the height of pre-tech, and part of the reason that all of society got into trouble, spike drives were being phased out. The jump gates were getting people to the places they needed to go, and you could rely on local spike drive travel at the frontier edges, but nobody within the main clusters of sectors needed spike drives anymore. They could just use the jump gates. So any kind of technology development in the direction of Metaspace would have been non-travel based. Libra doesn't have any particular insights either into the device that you have. Now we can either end with a vision of you guys doing something with the Union ships, or we can end with you activating that device. Well, putting it together, which you already discerned activated it. Or we could end with a kind of a softie and just roll the salvage that you get. Actually, I'm gonna strike that off because I think if you want to Oracle, that may I don't want to commit you guys to a week if you might not stay a week.
Yeah.
Also, you've salvaged enough of these so that you guys can see the base values of these things. If you roll a 10 or 11 on the 3d6, that's exactly what you would get from each of those.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and otherwise it goes by the sales chart and the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Europe.
So what? How do you want to end this session? Are you gonna put the weird, strange device together, or are you going to look into the future of possible negotiations or stealth approach to Union?
Is there an option C to look about waiting a week and then focusing on the first in a row?
Yeah. There certainly is.
Yeah, I think this is already a pretty charged session. I wouldn't mind it being a little bit softer at the end.
Okay, then we'll save the activation of the device because you've already had one experience with that,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm
Yeah.
giving anything away by saying let's wait on that.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got kind of sounds like we're going with the Oracle. Let's figure out what you want to ask. Do you want to ask what happens if you salvage out here for a week and then go to the Fair Tenera? Or do you want to ask something more direct about Union's interests?
I would like to know about Union's interests, but I'm not sure how much we would get out of it. Whereas we definitely get something workable if we ask what would happen if we try and go and negotiate with them.
Okay.
Anyone else's thoughts? Nobody else's thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, we've got a. Go ahead, Knox.
I think I've made my thoughts already known.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair.
We lost this lead the first time we came over here. I don't intend to lose it again.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got Meowkin interested in what happens if you approach the object. It sounds like more people are interested in approaching and what happens if you go to the Fair Tenera. Ultimately, it is Jackal's choice, obviously.
Yep.
I'm fine with doing it. At least we'll suffer the headache later, but I'm fine doing it.
Okay. Well, I'm still gonna frame this as involuntary until you tell me otherwise. While the crew are in this conference room discussing what your next steps are, you've got information of the fire ship. There's some throwing around of what could be so interesting that's out there, as well as what bringing up the device that's been locked away. Jackal, as a player, how do you want Elisa's vision to come around? What question do you want her to get a vision on?
I mean, I'd like that to be kind of a group decision. I don't want to unilaterally say this or that.
The group consensus seems to be approaching the Fair Tenor after waiting a week.
Then that is the question I will ask.
Okay. I'm not gonna nitpick too much on the exact question because it's a fairly you're not asking what's going to happen if I press this button that says bomb. This is already a very broad and open to interpretation. So while this chatter is carrying on about what course of action to take, whether we should keep scrapping out here or move on, and find out what's going on with the Union stuff. Could it possibly be related to the Fairtinera stuff? Elise is feels the very faintest hint of a little head pain coming on, but before she can react, before she can even close her eyes, she is rocked by a vision of a tense moment in time floating through space. Oh, you know what? Hang on. No, I'm gonna put it farther forward than that because that's not a very significant minute. She is greeted with a vision of a chipper koana, and congratulations on congratulations being given to crew. It seems like something was found. Something big was found on the Fairtinera, and there's just kind of an overall positive vibe. Of course, because Kawana's there, but also just generally a feeling of success. And things that at least can infer from this are what I started to say. Yeah, you slipped by Union. There's a residual air of tension in this 1 minute vision of celebration of somebody still feeling tense because Union is still out there. And that's another thing that you get from this vision is Union's still out there when you get there, but you successfully make it to the Fairtinera and find something of interest.
Ooh. Well, that sounds promising. That sounds promising.
It does.
Mm.
Now watch as something of interest turns into an LP take part.
That's fine.
Yeah, as long as it's not. Which one is the one we already have? All the ones we need.
Now I'll tell Jackal that this felt like a different celebration than something valuable found salvaging.
Two pre-tech parts, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that clear for me, Nox. But yes, there's certainly a weight to what you find, a weight that wouldn't be carried by we found more pre-tech parts. As she explores that vision more, the celebration is more about, hey, we were successful overall, in the whole operation of getting here, finding something. And with that, do you want to continue your original course, or your original thought of scrap these logistics ships and then go back to the Fairtinera?
So this is just me, but given that vision, And knowing that visions are not infallible, I still think it's worth detouring directly to the third roll.
Okay.
Hmm.
It is still, need we forget, enormous.
It does have a higher base value of spare parts than the logistics ship.
Yeah. Do we know what the base value is there or not?
Someone roll for Meowkin a int fix. Actually, wisdom fix.
I'll do it, give me a
Right.
sec.
Cool.
Unless someone else is already there.
I
I've
was
got
I
the
was about to
sheet,
pop it
but
open
roll
and do it.
20's being silly.
Fixed with int.
Wisdom, please.
12.
Oh,
All right,
you
we've got a
it.
12. Yes. Let me copy paste for you. With the third in a row. I don't know why I copied all of that. I have to remove some of it. You can't tell what the boons are. When you roll a 6, I've got lines for boon. When you roll a 6 on any one of these things, you get a boon. Also, if you roll a 1, you get a bad.
Yeah.
Boons and bads. Doesn't quite have as many as
Boons and
boons and
bads.
banes, but it works.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no returning penalty because the last time you actually salvaged the Fritz was months ago. So,
Yeah.
um, I'll have to delete that one. There you go. Up there, Tenero. Yeah, it does have more spare parts on offer.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just had Ginja coming on site.
Yeah, it's got more parts, and also I think we're better at admin than we are at pilot anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So we'd get a higher roll just
Yeah.
on that.
And we also don't have the +2 friction from returning.
Indeed, that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
What would we be doing? Would we go there, get inside it, shut down? I feel like trying to like if we're doing a week salvage, I don't think we can be sitting outside.
Like last time with the heat thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'll have similar stuff going on.
And it's only been a few days since you were there, so there will be some lingering heat. It will not be enough that as long as you make at least one roll on your approach, it will not be enough that you're instantly found out on approach.
Yeah.
That's nice.
It may force you into a situation where you have to shut down weapons and engine or not have a full week to salvage.
Yeah. How fast would that decay? If we did a week of logistics salvage, would that get it down to significantly lower?
I suppose I would. Let's see. So you were at 5 heat. Why don't I just put a number on it right now and say that the heat is going down by 1 every 2 days.
Okay.
So you've already spent 2 days going away from it. You'll have to take 2 more days going back towards it.
Okay, so that puts us at what, 3 heat?
It'll put you at 3 heat if you go back right away, and 0 heat if you salvage for a week.
I think it's worth it. It gives us more leeway when we're there to not have to worry about it quite so much. And it means so if we go there and we've got 3 heat, and we keep the engines running, that's 1 heat a day, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So we can't keep the engines running for a week. But if we go there and we've got no heat, we have the leeway to keep the engines running if we decide to. We may decide to turn them off, and then we can do 2 weeks of salvage, maybe.
Yeah,
But
and we do want.
we've
and
got
we do
the
want
option.
Yeah, we do want to make sure that we're not too close to the amount of heat in
Yeah.
case we need to do something dramatic on the way out.
Indeed.
Because let's be honest, we
Indeed.
thrive on drama, and also, like, would we have a rough idea of how far ahead Elise's visions are?
I can tell you that they can be up to 1 month out at the moment.
Okay, never mind. Because I was going to say, if we know, like, within a week, then
Sorry,
we
I
know
lied.
within a week, but...
They can be up to 3 months out
Yeah.
at the moment.
Never mind! Holy shit.
Yeah.
I will say, however, that the framing of that question was we spend a week here and then go back. So
Okay, yeah.
I'll give you a fairly firm time on that. Yeah, that vision was about 9 days away, about 9 or 10 days away, between 9 and 12 days away, because who knows how long you actually spent on the fifth in a row.
I will say, to be a psychic capable of blind teleporting right now.
Actually, if you had a psychic capable of making the distance, I think the distance is probably your bigger problem here. They could just teleport right onto the fair itinerary. They will have been there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I'm talking about teleporting straight into the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that is a possibility if you had a level 9 psychic.
Magical.
Yeah. Teleport in, grab the stuff, teleport out. Done.
Yeah.
And then Union's just like, wait, where'd the stuff go?
So let me repin this. And I won't immediately delete the pin message so that you can click it if you want. Those are the heat mechanics in planning.
Yeah.
All right, later, Jackal. Oh, he's already gone.
Yeah, he left a minute ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 1 per day if we're inside. So, and given we don't want to hit 10, we can do that as long as we get there with like 2 or less.
Yeah.
Which means we wait half a week to a week.
Which actually we can't, because the getting in generates at least 3 heat even if we pass all the checks.
You haven't looked at the second example. Maintain course and slow to a stop.
But that's stopping outside, which then the drive generates 3 heat per day.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So we essentially, if we're going to do a week of salvage, we have to shut the engine down, or we're going to hit 10 heat, guaranteed.
Okay.
You would hit the 10 heat like as you're finishing up your week of salvage, and you'd have the opportunity to engage in an exciting ship chase.
Yeah.
But if your intent is to keep the fair itinerary secret as long as possible, that won't achieve it.
Indeed.
Yeah, and we would like to keep it secret as long as possible.
Yeah. If we're inside the fair itinerary, can we still passive sensors through that or not?
I was going to give you some information, but no detection locks. Not as much as you would if you were hiding out in the open.
Yeah. My thinking is just like, if they started to move vaguely in our direction, would we have some advance warning?
I would give you that advance warning in some fashion, yeah. My thought was that you would see increased ship-to-ship chatter, and have enough sense of something going on, as well as the position of that chatter coming around. Yeah, you'd have advanced notice.
Okay. Yeah.
They're not going to show up at the hole in the fair itinerary and say, surprise!
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good with... I I do think we should do the week of logistics to reduce the heat, but I think then, yeah, go to Fertinaru, get inside,
Alright.
and
Here.
turn everything off and do some more salvage.
Hard agree.
Alright. Meowkin, you got a thought on there? And thanks for joining at the end here. Meowkin may not be able to type.
Typing now.
Okay. Then why don't you go ahead and give me rolls? Do you think you can map out the rolls for the logistics there, Ginja?
I could start.
Okay.
I think this one is less of one where I can just directly map it out because there's like one thing that Das is going to be the best at. But
let's see. I think I can help you out. I know that the con bonus you got is +1.
Con is going to be a +1 from Doug, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fix is going to be a +2, 3.
Let me check and see if
3.
Doug's got. Does he? Okay. Good.
Yeah, I've got the sheet open.
Okay, perfect.
Pilot. Who did we have for pilot?
You've got Natario, who is P1, so 1.
Right. I think the best otherwise we had was John, and I think he was at 0. Yeah. Okay. So Notario. Cool. I've done con. Exert. Doug has +2.
And got +3 on the fix. Okay.
Looks like that's the highest.
Huh.
Fix already done.
And Elise
Wisdom I'm
was
guessing
+2.
Elise.
Yeah.
Yeah. +2 from Elise. Excellent. Wisdom. Notice. Das has 1. Elise also has 1.
I think Percy also has 1. Okay.
Yeah. It looks like basically everyone's got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And how high was Das's trade?
1.
Okay. Well, that's neat. You've got a +0, +1, and a -1. Unless I've mathed it wrong again.
I don't know, but I've been writing it down.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've been writing down. Oh, and it lost the many on the notice, but I put many. I think it tried to strip out the HTML. And
yeah, probably.
Disappeared instead. Cool. So confix pilot is 5 con the fix. Actually, I'm going to do 1 + 3 + 1. On exert fix is 1 + 2 + 3. And then with notice trade is 2, 1, 1. There we go.
All right.
Who wants his rolls?
Who wants to make the rolls?
I could do it if no one else is.
I was gonna say I think you're the only one left. Ginja, give us some rolls.
Yeah. So we're minus the friction, which is 5, plus these.
Yes. I do appreciate you guys staying behind just so that you can kind of see what you're looting.
Yeah. So -5 plus 1 + 3 + 1 for the parts. is exactly average.
Yeah.
-5 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. Parts basic industry is average. -5 plus 2, 1, 1 for native artwork is just below average. So we're very average.
Yep.
Very
yep.
average on the logistics. Yeah.
And what's best about that -10% on the native artwork is it's not going to take you from 3 turns,
doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to take you from 3 tons to 2 tons. So we didn't even need to roll.
We just got the base. We just got the base. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey Dex.
Yes.
Where do you keep your extra rules for the game?
Ooh, you guys got a boon though. They should still be at the same link, but they're so deprecated right now. They're very old.
Okay. I don't know where that link is.
Okay.
All this talk about blind fire teleporting has got me in the character building brain.
Let me find where I linked it.
Okay.
Especially now that you're doing like dual major stuff with the focus cost.
With the focus what?
With the cost of focus, being able to dual major psychic ways.
Oh, right, like the Eterran Metamind.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. There's another one of those coming. It's being held as a secret for now because it only affects one character. But yeah, there's another one of those coming.
Great. I cannot wait. Like I said, I'm in. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, finish.
No, my thing is unimportant.
Okay, we are 150 spare parts off a phase charge cannon.
Nice.
we have 9850.
Oh.
Of 10,000.
All right. Yep. This is still a good link. Let me copy it to you. I'll just send it to you, Nux. Yep. All right. And I will let you guys know what that boon is with our next session.
Okay.
Please just let me download. Holy shit! The Dropbox on mobile is unusable.
It's not the best.
Also, I can't open the file.
Huh. Why is that? Alright, later, American.
I don't know.
Oh, I should probably stop streaming too.
Might be about time.
Yep. Alright, end stream.
Incrementing the XP counter, that's the level.
It is. I'll announce